Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual coaching classes organized by the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Today, we are going to see something quite interesting and possibly slightly different from the basic corporate law or company law that we have been seeing. I'm sure in the meantime, you've already been exposed to other economic laws, such as, for example, the Foreign Exchange Management Act, possibly the SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India Act, and so on. Now, these enactments are called economic laws. That your subject is corporate and economic laws. So, why are they called economic laws? Because they are statutes that deal with the economic development of the country. The Competition Act, I don't know if you have it in the syllabus, and so on and so forth. And the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act that we will be seeing very shortly. The idea is the government passes laws to promote certain economic behavior. The government passes certain laws to promote economic behavior or to, shall we say, prevent certain behaviors or to prevent certain practices. One of these practices is money laundering. Don't think that money laundering means, as you can see in the picture, money is converted or sort of washed. Literally, no. Money laundering is a term that refers to conversion of illegal money into legal money. Sometimes money that is earned illegally or without paying taxes. Mostly money that is earned illegally cannot be offered for taxes. This is one approach. Another is, of course, tax evasion, where the assessee suppresses his income and thereby does not pay taxes. So much of this also will be lying in the form of unexplained assets, unexplained cash, mostly unexplained credits, assets, and cash. So that is one aspect. In money laundering, we are concerned more with illegal money being converted into legal money. How this happens is one thing. How the law is preventing it is also very important. So the PMLA, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, is not a very recent enactment. It's a very old enactment, possibly as old as 90s. And the idea of the PMLA was to prevent black money being converted into white money. That's why it's called money laundering. When something black is converted to white, there is an element of whitewashing. So that's called money laundering, right? Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, PMLA. You might also ask, why should I know this? What is the relevance to me as a member, either in practice or in service? Now, money laundering is a very serious offense. Okay. Knowingly or unknowingly, a chartered accountant should not be party to it. Now, unless you know what is money laundering and what exactly has been prohibited, you may not be able to understand what is happening. So you may become, without your knowledge, you may become party to money laundering. Therefore, awareness of this law is essential for both members in practice as well as members in service. Though, in terms of immediacy, members in practice will be exposed to this law and its practices earlier. So for you to come across money laundering in corporate life may never happen. So if you're working in a highly ethical company, you may never come across it through your entire career. That's good for you. But still, It is necessary for you to know it. Am I correct? Good. So I have Mansha ji here putting in the first question, and I don't know if others are here because it's quite a long time since I handled the session for you. So it's quite natural that some of you might have forgotten me or whatever, and so are not here. Possibly, I don't know. So Mansha is here and she's asking a question, which we will take up very shortly. Others can also just sort of log in terms of putting up a query there or a hello there, so that I'll know that, I'm not talking to thin air. I'm talking to actually real live people out there listening to what I am saying. How money laundering is done is, we're going to see it. Can it be done through technology? Yeah, why not? Sometimes, yes, you can. Some amount of technology is useful for money laundering, we can say, but actually I would say the other way around. With more and more use of technology, okay, in banking and financial services sector, okay, it is becoming difficult for people to money launder. I would humbly submit that technology is actually preventing money laundering. I will tell you how also. Yeah, Janvi ji, good evening. Purnima ji, good evening. Welcome. And so it is. I'm not saying it cannot be done through technology, because there is one big money laundering, technological money laundering that is going on, which is the cryptocurrencies and all. But then today, the banking sector is becoming slowly digitalized. Okay, so datafication, as it's called, digitalification, whatever you call it, give it a big name, call it something interesting, and it becomes popular. But final point is, money entering the banking system is now identifiable through technology. Because when somebody any transaction can be tracked using, say, Aadhaar or PAN. So willy-nilly, that identity proof is linked to the transaction. So when nowadays it's becoming difficult to do money laundering is what I would humbly suggest, using technology. Okay. So let us see. Once you see the method of money laundering, you might try to find out how it is done, how it can be or cannot be done through technology. So with all this, you will ask me only one question. What is this money laundering? Yeah. Unless this, how can I say this is money laundering, that is money laundering? So first you should understand what is money laundering before you or I can successfully say, hey, this is money laundering. It should not be done like that. Or this is not money laundering. It can be done. So money laundering is a highly sophisticated act of covering up or camouflaging. Camouflaging is a word meaning hiding. Camouflage is something that, you might, when you bought a track pants possibly, or a cargo pant, sometimes we buy camouflage colors, which are black and green and all. It's combat troopers, especially these guys who are fighters, the soldiers, they use it. Fatigues, they use combat fatigues, which are in camouflage. That is, it will be in dull brown or dull green color, so that when they are hiding in the forest, they will be sort of camouflaged or hidden. So somebody looking at from the air or through binoculars cannot see them, because they would be merged into the landscape. The colors would be merged. So the idea is to cover up or camouflage the identity or origin of illegally obtained earnings, so that they appear to have been derived from lawful sources. So on the one side, you have illegal or black money. Friends, all black money is basically illegal money is black money. Because if I'm not paying taxes, if I've obtained it by illegal method, how I will declare it? So it cannot be declared in the ID return. Because, boss, I can declare it now. I'm not saying you cannot declare it. Suppose you declare it, you'll have to say where you got it from. You can't say, I'm a government servant. I accepted bribes every day, and these are the proceeds of the bribes I've collected. I'll pay the tax for it. If you say that the income tax department will happily take your taxes, then they will inform the CBI. who will come to your house and ask, hey, tell us about the story, how you got this money and all. Such an honest man paying taxes for bribe. Wow. Come, but how did you get the money? Because the fact that you took a bribe means you violated some other law. What is that law you violated? Let us talk about it and maybe take you to prison straight away. So nobody will declare money that is obtained by illegal method. Obviously, it will be untaxed also. So all illegal money will be black money. See, normally the word black money means untaxed or money that is not offered for tax or money on which tax is not. But of course, you can also use it generally as black money means any money that is earned by improper or illegal means. Okay, now, what will I do with these illegal funds? They are all lying in cash. If I can use the cash directly, then no problem. If I can use the cash directly, then no problem. There are many avenues still where you can use the cash directly. Again, that will get converted into assets like land or gold, for which you have to show the source later on. That's okay. Luckily for us, in India still, land, the guideline values or the value fixed by the Stamp Valuation Authority is still pretty low when compared to the intrinsic market values which are determined by demand and supply. So there is a gap there. For that gap, because the Stamp Valuation Authority is fixing the value at say 10,000 rupees per square feet, whereas the real market, because of demand supply issues, these certain areas, the properties would be going at say 20, 15,000, 16,000, 20,000. So the balance 10,000 cannot be accepted in weight, meaning through bank. Therefore, there is need for cash here, which is another problem that many people are facing in today's scenario. Okay, but whatever it is, to an extent that illegal money can be parked in legitimate assets by paying in cash itself. Then what you get is the stamp valuation will be lower. To that extent you will have. Then that illegal money cannot become, see, that's all, it is gone. Somebody, no, it is gone means from you it has gone to the seller. Now the seller has to take that cash and what will he do with it and so on. So that is circulating within the economy. This black money is circulating within the economy. So today's topic is going to be very practical. So I will be using certain words, should not get shocked and say, sir, how can you talk like this, sir? You are a chartered accountant like that. What to do? So fact is the fact, right? So there are people who pay cash for buying land. Similarly, in spite of cap being put on how much you can purchase using cash, for example, if you want to buy any goods, okay, any payment, any asset you want to buy or goods you want to buy, you cannot pay more than 2 lakh in cash. I mean, all this is the Income Tax Act. So the Income Tax Act is one, it's like a trishul, no? Money laundering is the main spike. You got the Income Tax Act on the right hand side, okay, which is sort of, and then you got the Benami Act, Benami Prevention Act is there. That is all. So 3-pronged thing. All of them come together, which is why when there is an income tax raid, money laundering also will be there, talking about prosecution under PMLA. Also, there may be prosecution under the Benami Transactions Act, prevention of Benami transaction. Benami is where asset belongs to A, who is the beneficial owner, but it is held in the name of B, who is a Benami. We already saw that, no? Beneficial owner, when we talked about shares. Nominee. So, Benami. Benami is also many, see what happens now, politicians, government servants. I have to mention this, I'm sorry, what to do. Anybody who earns money illegally, they cannot own these assets in their own name. Because their source will be limited. Now, whatever salary he is getting, whatever, that is all, how much he can do. So, but whereas he's got huge money, in whose name these assets will be shown. Therefore, they will buy it in the name of sometimes initially relatives, then friends, then total strangers, unconnected people, but he has some control over these people, whatever. Cine actors, I forgot to mention, politicians, cine actors, owners of distilleries, okay, who make alcohol. These are people who have to have cash. Okay, so these people will try to convert. Yeah, motive of demonetization was to prevent money laundering. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. which it achieved, I hope. By that one thing, complete black money in India was wiped out. There was no, after the demonetization, there is no black money in India. Can I say like that? I would like to say like that. I would like to say like that, but the hardcore evidence which I'm able to see around me makes me a little doubtful about the effectiveness of the process. So, of course, it cannot be denied that the demonetization has led to, shall we say, popularity of electronic payment methods like GPay, RuPay, etc. But again, that is, let's not forget, that is a salaried class again. See, today, the GPay is mostly used by the salaried class, upper middle class and the lower middle classes. To an extent, they use. And below the lower middle class, you have a whole group of workers and small traders who are willing to take now electronic payment. Inclusivity has happened, financial inclusivity has happened, no doubt about it. To that extent, yes. So, but that is only the tip of the iceberg. Black money is elsewhere. Okay, that is what we are now talking about. How that money is going to be converted into legitimate funds and assets. Okay, so the motive of demonetization, if your sentence is true, the motive of demonetization was to prevent money laundering. The objective was clear. Did it achieve it? I don't. I can only give that as an answer. I cannot say it did not achieve it. I cannot say it achieved it. I'm unable to say that it achieved it, because if it had achieved it, there should not be so much activities happening, right? So on and so forth. There's a bigger question that we have to. It is a more matured question also. We cannot blindly and bluntly take it up and sort of give out answers. But yeah. To an extent, I would again humbly submit that digitalization has now to a great extent reduced opportunity for corruption. I'm being very careful here. There are still cases where corruption is there. There are still cases where bribes are taken, bribes are given, of course. See, there is a taker of a bribe, there is a giver of a bribe. Right? So both are wrong. We cannot say only the government servant who takes the bribe is wrong. The businessman or the individual citizen like you and me who is willing to give the bribe is equally wrong. Both are adharmic. The adharma is there on both sides. No, so you can't say, because he's asking, I'm giving. He's asking why you give. You can say, I won't give, like that. So on and so forth. So, point is, money laundering is basically the process of converting illegal black money of a person in a legal or into a legal or white money. It is a process used by, now we have to use that word, criminals, to wash their tainted, meaning colored. These are words. In case you do not understand these words, no problem. Write them down on a paper and maybe the meaning that I'm giving also, and include them into your increasing vocabulary. If you know the meaning, I'm very happy. In case you did not know the words like camouflaging, tainted, today you learned these words. Your vocabulary has gone up now. Okay. So tainted means colored. Colored means see the word tainted, taint means it's like a shade, taint. Okay. So tainted. But the word tainted has received a negative connotation in usage. So his money is tainted. That means what? His money is colored. His money is not clean, unclean. So the word tainted has also received a sort of a shade of meaning which is unclean. So when you say tainted money, we are actually saying unclean money. So criminals have unclean money, tainted money, because it has been earned by illegal means. They want to make it clean. They do it through the process of money laundering. Illegal black money is converted into legal white money through the process of money laundering. Now this law was passed, and it's a very old law. This is the 2002 was an amended law. Okay, it's a very old law. Because corruption is corruption is as old as human beings. Don't think it's something peculiar to India or peculiar to Southeast Asia or peculiar to third world countries or peculiar to the South countries. See, the globe, generally, they draw a line near the equator, and they say below that we have South, like Latin America, Africa, India, Southeast Asia, Far East, etc. But then Japan won't come into that. Though it's in this side, Japan gets out. The rest of them. So we are called the South, whereas the Europe, US, and by a strange focus, Australia, this side, Australia, Japan, they sort of are developed countries and they have conquered corruption. They have no corruption, etc. So we are still corrupt. So if you look at frequently, you will find a list of countries are given, wherein you see most corrupt countries like that. You got most corrupt countries and all of that. So India used to be there in that list, a little bit on the top. Then slowly, we are going to the bottom of that list. And maybe we will get out of that list. A country where there is no corruption. I could say to an extent, yes. My recent visit to Japan in April, I was able to see. We see the average Japanese does not understand the concept of corruption, because they do not understand the concept of breaking a rule. See, when do you get corruption into a country? When there is a rule and that rule is to be broken. There is a rule and that rule is to be broken for some people, but not for others. Some people want to get through that fence, so they slowly lift one of the wires and then he is allowed to slip in. For that, they take a bribe. So this part is rule breaking. Now, Japanese cannot imagine. They don't have concept of rule breaking, sir. You'll have to understand the Japanese psyche to understand this. They cannot imagine. See, to do something, you should imagine it first, right? To teach this class, first I needed to imagine the concept of teaching this class. Then only I could prepare. Now, the Japanese do not have a concept of breaking the law. Forget taking money for that. Okay, so this is something very peculiar, which is why there's the famous chief minister of Bihar. I don't know if you know his name. The great, no offenses intended. His name is Lalu Prasad Yadav. Great man. Okay. Good politician, great leader, etc., etc. So the Japanese, they were apocryphically, the Japanese approached Bihar state chief minister and said, sir, please give Bihar to us for about 3 years. We will make it in like Japan. Okay. But since I've been in Japan, I know what they're talking about. Beautiful roads, everything working well, everybody doing their job correctly, nobody disobeying, everybody forming a queue. Imagine Bihar. Okay, I'm sorry if anybody from Bihar is here, don't take me otherwise, because I've traveled extensively in Bihar and I know what I'm talking about. Okay, forming a queue, etc., etc. So the Japanese, in good intention, they said, we'll do this. Lalu said, hey, hello, come here. You give me Bihar, you give me Japan for 3 days, Baba. You give me Japan for 3 days. I will make it into Bihar. This is something that is a joke. Don't take it otherwise if you're from Bihar. But in fact, when I was recently in Dharamshala on a spiritual retreat, I was in a place called Siddhabari. One of my fellow students was from Bihar, very nice gentleman. So maybe I'm being uncharitable to all Biharis when I give this sort of story, and I apologize for that, because this gentleman was a highly evolved spiritualist. We had a great conversation, and he was such a sweet person. So I'm sorry if I've used the word wrongly. It could well be told of Jayalalitha, well be told of Tamil Nadu also. Jayalalitha also equally capable of having told the Japanese, you give me Japan, I will make it into Tamil Nadu also. The point is corruption. Okay, so the idea was to prevent and control money laundering. There is a mean. See, I am unable to prevent corruption, but what I can do, I can locate this money, and then if I'm able to see somewhere the cash that this bugger is getting as a bribe needs to come into the system, needs to come into the mainstream system, because unless it comes into the mainstream system as white money, our man cannot enjoy it. Our man cannot truly enjoy it. Therefore, somewhere these fellows are going to bring it into the system. So now suppose I'm able to go there and catch the money moving from bad to good. Chuck. Then I can not only punish this fellow for what he's doing, but also I can confiscate and seize that money and bring it into the government coffer. Obviously, that money will be also used for paying the taxes which should have been paid, and the penalties, etc., which should have been paid. Okay. Beyond all that, if something is still left over, that will be confiscated. That doesn't belong to you. Oh, you are not entitled to it. Get out. So that goes to the common fund of India, and for all of us to enjoy. Okay. So for your information. So this act provides for the control of money laundering and also confiscation and seizure of property. So certain words again become very important. Now, knowledge of the meanings of words is called semantics. Okay, I've got somebody suddenly coming in. Mr. Sai Krishna, I had passed my CA final group on November 2022 and got 60 in law. Wow. Okay, he's saying my lectures helped him a lot. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Sri Sai Krishna, I thank you. Thank you for confirming it to me in this class, and wishing you all the very best in your career as a CA. Thank you. Chalo. Coming back to the topic. So today's topic is a little funny topic, not like my usual law, corporate law. Is section so and so, section so and so, blah, blah. This is going to the root of our life as Indians, okay, and our growth as an economy. That's why this is an economic law. What happens if there is a lot of corruption? When there is a lot of corruption, merit cannot come up. People who are having merit, people who are having good worth, people who are hardworking, they cannot come up, because people who are not having merit, people who are not worthy, they would be able to use their money power to go on. There is a problem. So the only way we can do this is by, of course, the avowed goal and objective of the current government is to prevent corruption, and they are working towards it. But the problem is, they are working against a demon that is so tremendous. For example, in the Devi Purana, they talk about the Devi Mahatmyam, talk about Bandasura. See, Bandasura, the Devi kept on chopping off his head, and wherever the blood fell, he was called Rakta Bija. Wherever the blood fell, there again one more Bandasura will come up. So one drop of it. So that is why finally she had to Chamunda. She has to open her mouth, and as the head is cut, she will drink the blood, and then she cut him and killed him. So the stories, mythology, stories. Idea is not to talk about the story, but to talk about the metaphor of this. That is corruption. If you cut one head, blood is flowing. More corruption everywhere. Corruption. How to cut it? How to kill this monster? This is the thing. This law is sort of one of the tools that we use to do it. For that, first we have to define something called proceeds of crime. What is the proceeds of crime? Section 2(1)(u). Any property derived or obtained directly or indirectly by any person as a result of criminal activity, okay, relating to a schedule offense. So in this country, we have something called the Criminal Procedure Code, which deals with how the courts should deal, how the police should deal with the criminals, right? And criminal offenses. So offenses are defined. There is Indian Penal Code, IPC, which defines the punishment for these offenses. So offense is there, punishment is there. Okay. So certain offenses are collected and culled out, and they have put in a schedule. This law has 2 schedules, and that in that schedule, these criminal activity is mentioned. So any property is a wide term. Property doesn't mean only land and building. No, sir. Here, property includes movable and immovable property. Movable property includes cash, jewelry, anything, car, yacht, everything, property. When you say, I'm a man of property, sir, I'm not only looking at your house and land, building, etc. I'm looking at everything. The money in your safe deposit locker, the cash that you have, the shares that you own, everything is property. Okay. any property derived or obtained directly or indirectly. For example, Mr. A takes a bribe. Using that money, he buys land. No, that is indirectly derived. Though he cannot say, sir, this is different, that is different. No. Okay. So, indirectly is criminal activity. But that criminal activity should relate it to a scheduled offense. See, pickpocketing is also a criminal activity, but it's not a scheduled offense. So here they have tried to bring, for example, mostly scheduled offenses like smuggling, narcotics, dealing in narcotics, okay, smuggling gold, foreign currency, foreign exchange. These are all scheduled offenses. Narcotics is a very serious offense. Okay, dealing or illegal trafficking of narcotic substances. Okay, like coke means cocaine and all that. So relating to a scheduled offense or the value of any such property, or where such property is taken or held outside the country, then the property equivalent in value held within the country or abroad. So proceeds of crime. Okay. So instead of keeping it here, we transfer it to Cayman Island. That is not money laundering. We're going to see that. That's exactly what money laundering is all about. Okay, take cash, give it to Mr. X here, then your account gets credited in Cayman Island, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, this part of it may look like, sort of technology. Yeah, one end is technology, the other end is cash. Somewhere in money laundering, you will have one end is cash, the other end is technology. If I convert my tainted, you got tainted money, Ms. Manisha, I'm so sorry to know this, and invest in agriculture activities, does it account as money? See, please go through this. I will be defining money. Okay, we will do one thing. Well, we will answer your question through definition only. Your question is very simple. If I convert my tainted money and invest in agricultural, you mean agricultural activity, agricultural land. Or maybe you invest in agricultural land and whatever you do, some agricultural activities, does it count as money laundering? What do you think, Mansha? So which is money laundering? Investing in agricultural activities, is that money laundering? Or converting your tainted money? I don't know. I don't know where you're going with this. Are you suggesting that if criminal activity is engaged, somebody engaged in criminal activity, takes that money and invests it in agricultural activity, it gets purified? Does the criminal activity get purified by the fact that it is used in agricultural activity? And is the process of doing it any less money laundering? We'll come to that. Sorry, I'm not trying to answer your question. I'm asking one more question. But is that not important? Which is money laundering? Buying agricultural land, nothing wrong in that, sir. Madam, you can buy agricultural land. But what is the source of the money? Illegal. Therefore, how did that illegal money be made available for buying the agricultural land? By some process, na. That conversion, you have yourself used the word that conversion is called money laundering. That is criminal. It will count as money laundering. To answer your question. Okay. And I don't know how this agricultural activity becomes so pure. Very surprised. Of course, our great poet Thiruvalluvar has one whole chapter on agriculture. 10 verses of Thirukural praise the farmer and the agriculturist and say he is the man behind whom all of us go. He says the farmer walks in the front, Kisan, he walks in the front, okay, aage chalenge, and we are all behind him, okay, only, okay. Shurandrum yer pinnadu ulagam, he says, even if the world is revolving on such a huge place, it is still behind the plow. Okay, is what Thiruvalluvar says. Shurandrum yer pinnadu ulagam. It is behind the plow. So the plowman, the man who draws the plow, Kisan is the leader. He is the man who does it. So I can understand that agriculture is a very, very great and holy activity. All respect to the agriculturist or the farmer. But if you take your tainted money and convert it and invest it in agricultural activity, it will still count as money laundering. Okay. So the solution here is not avoiding agricultural activity. Please go ahead and do that, which is good for you. But don't do it using tainted money. That will be money laundering. Okay. Sorry, I mean, I know I'm smiling, laughing a little, but what to do? So really, I would like to know your motive in this. What are you trying to say? Are you saying agricultural activity is capable of purifying like Ganga tainted money? I don't think so. Okay. But one beauty is most agricultural land, the guideline values are far lower than the real values. Especially, I don't know where you come from. If you come from Uttar Pradesh or Rajasthan or Haryana especially, borders of, say, for example, Mohalla, all that, Chandigarh, Jab, there you will find land values or agricultural land values are pretty high, but the guideline is still low. So very surprisingly, you'll find it. So you can use this, your tainted money to buy that agricultural land. Nobody know about it. It will be the cash transaction. Okay. The guy who sold that land to you, maybe he will use that money to get his daughter married off. So for that, he will spend cash. See how it gets distributed. So he will take that cash. So he will have some 1 bigha, 2 bighas. He will sell it to you. You will buy, you will accumulate from all these Ram, Laksan, Lakhan, Kisan. Everybody will come and give you. You will buy. Then you will give your cash. Then this fellows all will get the most of the cash will be used will go back to the government. How? Because I don't know about Punjab or I don't know about Haryana, but in Tamil Nadu it will go back to the government because the liquor shops are also run by the government of Tamil Nadu. So any agriculturist who sells his land, he will take cash. Only small portion you will give him a DD, which will be the guideline value for stamp purpose. The rest of it is cash. You will take it in a briefcase, give it to him. Then he will take it. Then he'll go give his wife some amount, some children and all already waiting to grab it from him. He will hide something in his underwear, for which that he will straight away go to the local liquor shop, drink, and that money will go. Or if he's smart, he will use the entire amount for drinking for the next 10 years. Slowly that money will come back to the government of Tamil Nadu through the liquor shops. Okay. Sorry, Okay, good. So whatever it is, but sorry, this is going without knowledge. This money is going without knowledge. Or else, as I said, he might genuinely perform his daughter's marriage. In which case, that money again will get distributed to the caterer, to the, the Pandal guy. All these fellows will get it. Then they will in turn pay to their guys and all. So that this is one of the reasons why the Indian economy could survive one whole year of global financial meltdown. The whole world was suffering from global financial meltdown in 2008. Nothing happened in India. Our fellows were all happy. Nothing happened in mainstream India. Nothing happened. Only the IT sector and other fellows were suffering and crying and all because their salaries got cut. The rest of India was simply smiling and going on because they had a whole lot of cash, one tier below. And that cash came out and it started getting spent. And the economy still maintained its tempo. But of course, even finally, that also, the market collapsed and then we slowly entered the recessionary phase till 2012. Okay. Anyway, the point is, so that is, this discussion, we are also talking a lot about black money, etc., etc. Okay. Property is also defined here. Any property or assets of every description, whether corporeal or incorporeal. Incorporeal means your intellectual property rights and all that. Right? No, why they mean incorporeal. Corporeal. See, incorporeal, I don't know what they mean by that. Corporeal means having a body. Incorporeal means not having a body. Movable or immovable. Tangible or intangible. So intangibles again. We've got intellectual property right, etc. Goodwill, whatever. And includes deeds and instruments evidencing title to or interest in such property or assets wherever located. It includes property of any kind used in the commission of an offence under this act or any of the scheduled offences. Be careful here. Property used in the commission of an offence. Meaning what? Suppose the one gentleman is smuggling narcotics, maybe he is using a motor car. The motor car is being used for smuggling liquor or narcotics. Now that is a property. And as such, it is a proceed of claim. Okay. Transfer is again defined here. Sale, purchase, mortgage, pledge, gift, loan, or any other form of transfer of right title or possession or lien. Scheduled offense. Very important. There are two parts. That's mainly three parts. Part A, offenses specified under Part B. If the total value involved in such offenses is 1 crore rupees or more. The offenses specified under Part C of the schedule. So three parts are there. Scheduled offense means Part A offense, whatever may be the amount. Part B offense, only if it exceeds 1 crore or more. Part A, even 1 rupee gone. Part B, the total value involved should be 1 crore or more. Or Part C offenses. Okay. So here we go. Proceeds of crime. Sources from where illegal money is generated. These are methods by which illegal money is generated. These are activities that are anyway prohibited by the Indian Penal Code, or specifically, for example, there is a COFE-POSA, Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activity Act. COFE-POSA, Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activity Act. Very powerful. COFE-POSA, see, smuggling, when it happens, it usually happens at the border. Invariably, smuggling happens at the border. Air border, when you're landing by flight or landing by ship on the port or roadway. Where there's a land border, where we have contiguity, when you're crossing over, there could be some amount of smuggling. Okay. Meaning, there is an import duty in our country for that item. You try to bring it in without paying the duty. That's all. Simple term smuggling. They are violating Customs Act. So that is why customs officers are in charge of prevention of smuggling. COFE-POSA. So they are constantly looking for chances where they can, because the problem is you can't catch a smuggler by sitting in your air-conditioned room. You would actually go and catch him when he is smuggling, when he is crossing the border with the contraband. So that money, the thing that is getting in now without paying duty, or sometimes without paying duty, sometimes violation also of the law. For example, I'm sure none of you smoke, so you may not understand this, but in addition to smoking, today you have something called e-cigars, e-cigarette. I don't know if you know that, e-cigarettes, where there's a small container where it's stored in vapor form, and you just have to suck it in. So as you suck it in, the vapor will go into your lungs and all. You can even keep it in whatever. There will be some amount of absorption of the tobacco. Very nice flavors are there. Cherry flavor, mango flavor, everything is there. That e-cigarette is prohibited in India. Okay. For example, even if you say, I will pay the duty, not allowed. In Japan, it's legal. But you can't bring it into India. If you want to enjoy the e-cigarette, you have to smoke it in Japan, throw it and come. It's pretty costly, but there are people selling e-cigarettes in India. If you want an e-cigarette, you can get it. Don't worry. If you're so badly in need of e-cigarette, there are guys who are willing to give you the Vapo, this thing. Some price, 2,800, 3,000. They got the money to blow. How did they get it? Smuggling. Somebody took the risk. Obviously, that guy who bought the e-cigarette knew the officer who was going to be on duty on that day. So when he bought the suitcase of, let us say, about 50 or 60 e-cigarettes in, along with this sort of clothes to camouflage it, fellow knew he's not going to get caught. So double, smuggler gets money, portion of that goes to the customs officer as a bribe. See how the black money accumulates. Terrorist acts sometimes generate illegal money. Terrorist act also needs illegal money. This is something that you might want to remember. When an act of terrorism is to be done, a lot of money is to be spent. This money cannot be spent by legitimate means because it will leave a paper trail through technology. That is the problem. Technology actually prevents all this. Suppose you start swiping credit cards, you can be tracked. So in order to prevent that, everything is done in cash. Where will that cash come from? Again, it has to come from these illegal sources only. Okay. Bribery and corruption, as usual. Gambling, illegal gambling, I should say, because legal gambling is there where you'll get TDS after TDS. Illegal gambling, robbery, cheating, counterfeiting. You print 2,000 rupee note. Okay, forgery, all that. Extortion, kidnapping a person and holding them for ransom. All that. I'm sure none of this is new to any of you here, because you have been educated about these activities through the popular, media and films which you've been watching. So you know what I'm talking about. Of course, drug trafficking, we saw. Possibly we've left out one of the crimes which is possible because there's no picture here, or maybe it's not. So prostitution is also one such. Okay, in some cities like in India, prostitution, but that also generates a lot of because many places it's prohibited, and when there's a act, it's a Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act, CETA. It's called CETA, Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act, CETA. So CETA Act and CETA Act, they can be punished. Who will be punished? The lady will be punished. Sorry. So because she is the person who solicits, so she will be punished. So on and so forth. The man is only a witness. Okay, like that under CETA. So see the abbreviation also. What to do? So see today, my dear friends, rightly or wrongly, I'm introducing you to all sorts of wrong things in the fond hope that once you hear about all these wrong things, you would distance yourself from them. As a future member of our institute, you will distance yourself from them, etc. Which means, as Purviban Prajapati is trying to say, creating bogus company also comes in this list. No, sir. No, madam. Why? Because creating bogus company comes in the process. See, this is the source. Okay. First, you have to earn your black money, madam. Then only you can convert it. So creating bogus company is used for conversion. Whereas this is hardcore earning. Okay. Of course, if you are creating bogus companies for the purpose of accepting deposits and running away, that comes under cheating. So many states, including Kerala and all, there were companies called blade companies. They're called blade companies. Why they're called blade companies? But these companies will form chit fund company deposits. So they will announce high rates of interest and all, and they will accept deposits from the public. And then one fine morning, when everybody goes to the office, it's closed. Where is the owner run away? Where is the money gone? Okay, that is called cheating. That again, fellow cannot keep it in bank. No, one day you withdraw from the bank. The entire cash you will take and run away. It's cash. Okay. What to do now? So we have to do money laundering. So now we are going to learn how to do money laundering. For that, you should understand what is a payment system. Payment system means a system that enables payment to be effected between a payer and a beneficiary, involving clearing, payment, or settlement service. So, credit card operations, debit card operations, smart card, money transfer, they are all called payment system. Payment system operator means a person who operates a payment system, right? So, they are defining it because later on, you are going to see a duty placed on payment system operator. He has to keep informing the government on transactions. He has to give a report of transactions to the government. I was just joking, Mansha, since you use the word, if I convert my tainted money, I assumed you are having, just joking. Okay, as a future chartered accountant, try to learn humor. I'm sure you don't know, you don't have tainted money. And I'm sure you will not have also. I was just seeking your views on that. I hope you got my views loudly and clearly. This year, in January month, before budget, there was a statement that came from the Minister of Finance: agricultural income can be taxed if fund diversion to agriculture sector to convert black. Exactly. It is, that's what I also said. No. Agriculture, if you are trying to divert your funds into agricultural sector, it amounts to money laundering. But it is already being done. If the finance minister is fondly imagining that she has discovered this for the first time, sorry about it. This has been going on for 30 years. A lot of money has been diverted into agricultural operations. Money, black money. Okay. More so because any income from agricultural activity is tax-free. So taxing agricultural income is a different subject. Whether to tax or not is, if somebody has to have the guts to tax agricultural income, because agricultural income is exempted from tax. If agricultural income is taxed, that is a different story. That may not in itself prevent money laundering by converting it into agricultural land. Because still, my money can be held there. Now I can pay the tax on the agricultural income now. What is that? So that is what. Extortion means, for example, mainly it's kidnapping. You kidnap a person and, a child or a person, and you hold them for ransom. For example, the great Kannada film actor Rajkumar was kidnapped. I don't know if you're aware of this. Kidnapped, and his family was told to pay money and all to release him. So that is called extortion. Okay, extortion is squeezing somebody and taking money from them by using threat. Ideally, by kidnapping a near dear relative or them, and then saying, if you want to be released, give me money. Like that. So it's called extortion. Yeah. I hope you'll agree that it is not a good activity. It's a criminal activity. Okay. So any amount earned by that would be a proceeds of crime. Sorry, Mansha, I'll take back what I said. You don't have money. You don't have tainted money. You are simply saying, if I convert my tainted money, you are using a very, very, shall we say, figurative way of speaking. If at all you had tainted money and you converted it like that. Chalo. At last we come to the definition of the word money laundering. Money laundering has the meaning assigned to it in section 3. So when we come to section 3, which is the next section, we will see what is money laundering. Okay. So money laundering. Now, this money laundering is the process. So, whosoever does money laundering shall be guilty of the offense of money laundering. So, what is this? Directly or indirectly attempting to indulge or knowingly assisting or knowingly being a party or being actually involved. I'm converting the grammar. Whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge. Indulge means practice. Or knowingly assists. Means he is aware that what is happening is money laundering and knowingly helps. Or knowingly is a party. Or is actually involved in any process or activity connected with the proceeds of crime, including its concealment, possession, acquisition, or use, and projecting or claiming it as untainted property. So, money laundering is basically concealing the proceeds of crime, possessing the proceeds of crime, acquisition of the proceeds of crime, use and projecting or claiming it as untainted property. Right. So, I'll give a simple example and it's easy also. Okay. Mr. A is a government servant and I'm using it very openly, government servant, because government servants only can accept bribes. Okay. So, let's not say that I cannot use the name of a government servant. Why should I not? Who else can accept a bribe? Only a government servant. Which government servant, which department, all will not go into it. What was the nature of the offense committed for earning that bribe, we will not go into it. Could be a police officer, taking a bribe and sort of watering down the FIR. Okay. Whatever. Could be a public prosecutor taking a bribe and watering down his argument so that the other defense lawyer is able to win the case and the judgment is given. Knowingly, the public prosecutor weakens the case against the accused. Knowingly. So there are certain evidences available which they don't play. They don't talk about it too much. Then the defense is able to get away with it and he gets innocent, acquitted. So whatever. I'm only giving examples. Okay, whatever it is. So he has accumulated some money, not very much. So let us say 2 crores of cash he's got. Now, he locates a nice house. Luckily for him, the house is 3 crore. 1 crore is the amount that he has to pay as stamp valuation. Remaining 2 crores cash. That area is like that. It is developing, but still the guideline values are not kept. So guideline values are 2 times. If it is 1, that is 2. 1 is to 2. So 1 crore. Now this fellow has to generate 1 crore now. He doesn't have to 1 crore. So what he does, he files a return in the name of his distant cousin who is very close to him. Says, come here. I'll file the return now. For 3 years, they file some return showing some bogus income from other sources, agricultural income, blah, blah. And then they create a source. And then they go to the bank and then they tell the bank, you give us loan. Loan bank will take that loan because property is worth much more. By even a valuation guy will give a valuation of about 1.75 to 2 crores for this property. But the real market value is 3 crore. So 2 crore will be paid in cash, which is readily available with our friend. He'll give it to him. Balance 1 crore, small amount will be, pumped into this relative's bank account, will be given to us opening, his contribution. Balance 90% funding by the bank in EMI. EMI also what will happen, that cousin will not pay. Our man will transfer it to him and he will pay, or our man will deposit cash in his account. Up to 50,000 like that, he will deposit, or 30,000 every month. That money will be offered as income. How that will be offered? But it has to be offered as income in the hands of the cousin. Anyway, the slab is there. So coolly this is going on. Now that cousin is a benami. The property is in the name of the cousin. But whose money is it? Government officer. All trust. Tomorrow if that cousin comes back and says, hey, this is my property, nothing can be done. Because every record, every document is in his name. But of course, that is the trust. Think about it. Usually that is why all this will be done in the name of close relatives who will not do things like that. Okay, like that. So now what has happened? The government officer is attempting to indulge in a process connected with the proceeds of crime. What is he doing? He is projecting it as untainted property, uncolored property, good property. Also, this relative, he is knowingly assisting this bagger, so he is also guilty of money laundering. Just knowing, you knew very well where that money is coming from. You knew very well this is all part of money laundering, but you gave your name for it, so you are also guilty of money laundering. Okay. Later on, if that government officer, becomes a little unpopular with his colleagues or whatever, politically he is in a wrong party, something happens. Vigilance, immediately the vigilance will go and catch him. So they'll catch him, one guy they'll catch, they'll say, hey, you help me. So that fellow will give that rupee currency note, they'll color it. They'll put one invisible powder on it and then they'll give it to this guy. You see, he's asking for 1 lakh, no problem. You give him 1 lakh, colored powder. It cannot be seen. It's invisible and give it to him. So he will take it in his hand. So literally his hands will be tainted. Immediately this guy gives the money and comes out of the building. Immediately vigilance will go into the room and say, please, no problem, sir, don't mistake me, just to show your hand. Then they will put one chemical on the hand. If nothing, he has not touched any corrupted money, the color will be same. Normal, like my hands. But if he's taken that money, his hands will become red. I've seen it happen also. It will become red. That invisible powder in his hand will now come out as red. That's all proof. Then of course he'll be then second level of corruption will start. But this fellow will go to the vigilance and there he will corrupt them to get out of this problem. God save this country. I'm not even going there. All I'm showing you is one example of how money laundering happens. Thank you, Ms. Mansha. I said sorry because I don't want you to think that I'm just joking. Chalo. So I hope you understood money laundering. There are many methods, but basically cash hidden, asset to be purchased. How to make this cash into white so that I can pay. Today, it is impossible for you to pay cash and buy. In those days, there was no limit. You could go to the car showroom, pay full cash, 15 lakhs cash, buy the car and come out. Nobody to question you. Today, no, sir. Above 2 lakhs, you cannot pay cash. Up to 2 lakhs, you can pay cash above 2 lakhs, but you'll have to give your PAN number. See, that link is there, Aadhaar PAN link. So that is how it is. So this is basically what money laundering is all about. So people invent extraordinary methods for doing it. And I'm very sorry to say, some members of our profession also take extraordinary pride in being able to do this. They say, I am an expert in money laundering. Sorry, sir. This is not a specialization area. Do not specialize in money laundering. Okay. Sorry. Don't. If you think that I'm teaching all this with a view to helping you to become specialist, there are people who see nobody agreed. You will become if I ask you today that the current hot topic, everybody wants to specialize is forensic. I don't know. Everybody wants to do forensic audit. Will there be so much crime going around is what I'm thinking. If all of you want to become forensic audit, I think you will encourage people to commit crime so that you can discover that crime. Because I'm sorry, today a little bit of a funny mood. In fact, there's a famous epic, I'm sure in the Mahabharata, there is, in the Vanaparva, there is one story of Nala and Damayanti, the original Vyasa's epic. In Tamil Nadu, there was a poet called Pugarendi. He read that and then sort of like Kamban did for Ramayana, Pugarendi wrote Nala Venpa, a beautiful poem, sort of written it in couplets of four lines, Venpa. It's called Venpa. And he wrote it. Beautiful book, beautiful work in Tamil. And therein, he discusses, in the beginning, he defines Nala's kingdom, Nirada, and there in Mavandi, that is his capital. Like Ayodhya for Rama, for Nala it was Mavinda. Instead, he describes and he says, in that city of Mavindam, okay, there was only one thing which was not there. There was only one thing which was not there, and that was begging. Everything was there in that city, but there was one thing which was not there. That was begging. And there was one thing only that nobody wanted to learn. The people were highly knowledgeable and learned in that city, but one thing they refused to learn, that was cheating. He said, people refused. In that city, there was no begging. Everything else was there, but no begging. Something was lacking means begging was lacking. That city, begging was lacking. And something nobody wanted to learn means cheating nobody wanted to learn. Fraud nobody wanted to learn. Okay, tax planning, nobody wanted to learn. Tax evasion, nobody wanted to learn. Okay, I hope my message is clear, loud and clear. Okay, don't study CA, go through all these tough examinations and become a member of my institute to help tax evaders. Don't do that. There is no punyam in that. There is no merit in that. Don't do that. Of course, you might think that some money is there in that. Maybe it is, but no. Don't do that. Don't be knowingly a party in any process or activity connected with the proceeds of crime. Because anybody who does that will be guilty of the offense of money laundering. Even an auditor who advises the client on how to do it. For example, you got cash, then deposit the cash in. Okay, thank you. So I'm just sharing some thoughts with you. I hope not out of context, but within that same context. Okay. So coming to the point, see, a lot of cash is there. Now what to do, sir? What to do? Okay. Here's a wonderful money. Okay, freeze. I'm teaching you money laundering, one money laundering method quickly. Okay. You deposit that cash. You take 10 or 15 people in your village, go back to your village, identify guys who are not paying taxes. Okay, below the tax limit. Then you deposit that in their name. Up to the tax limit you deposit, or little more than that, pay some nominal tax. Then for all of them, file income tax return and then deposit it. And from their account, you collect it in the form of deposits. That is where the bogus company comes. That is where Ms. Prajapati ji, the bogus company comes. So you form bogus companies. And these guys lend money to that bogus company. Show them as unsecured creditors. then roll all of it, and then transfer it to your account, maybe as loan, whatever. Okay. And what 185? This fellow is doing cheating, what 185? Just go. And that company itself, only Benamis will be directors. Are you able to see how this is happening? Then acquire that asset. But yeah, I'm sure all of you will be. I'm just suggesting this to you. See, somewhere it is the duty of a teacher to at least urge students that don't do this like this. Ultimately, what you will do with our life, we do not know. Nobody can say what will happen later. Nobody is God. Try to avoid. Because the consequence of adharma is always bad. The consequence of dharma is always good. Though initially dharma may cause problems, may cause some deprivation. Adharma may give immediately a lot of support, greatness, money, power, wealth, fame, recognition. Because people really don't care how you earn the money. So that you give a huge 1 lakh, 2 lakh donation to the charitable purpose, they will praise this man. They will say he is one of the dharmavan. But where that money came from, they don't really want to know. But so you will get that name and fame of that activity. He is such a big man. He is donating. He has become a major donor of Rotary. Like that. They will say, how that money came. They don't want to know. Later on, when that person is arrested for fraud, whatever, for money laundering and all, they will say, I knew at that time itself, man, so much money cannot be earned in an honest way. I knew about that fellow at that time itself. Hey, you knew about that fellow at that time, but you took the mic and said, you are, Harishchandra reborn. You are, Karna reborn. Like that and all, you spoke in public about that man. Now when he is arrested for money laundering, you say, I knew at that time itself. That is the fickle nature of human beings. So that is how it is. Anyway, a person shall be guilty of offense of money laundering. So the reverse of it. If such person directly or indirectly attempts, indulge knowingly or unknowingly, for the removal of doubts, you say, knowingly assess or knowingly is a party or is actually involved in any process or activity connected with process of crime, including its concealment, possession, acquisition or use and projecting or claiming it as untainted property. Since this could be a little abstract, since there could be a little confusion in understanding this definition, I have given you a couple of examples of how money laundering is actually done. Okay. The intention is not to teach you how to do money laundering or to encourage money laundering, but I'll show you an example of money laundering so that you'll know what it is. Sometimes you might work in a company where, public issues are used for money laundering. I'm not joking. I can tell you, I can give you some names also of money laundered public issues. Where, see, public issue, what will happen? All sorts of applications will come from the public now. So, in those days, I'm telling you, now it is not possible. I'll tell you why it's not possible now. In those days, it was possible because dematerialization not coming fully. Dematerialization and not coming fully, it was partial dematerialization, etc., etc. So, physical shares were also there. And what the company will do, they'll go for a public issue. For example, 10 crores. Now, the promoters will bring in genuinely 2 crores from their white sources. Then public issue will also be there. Maybe the public subscription may be nothing. But this promoters have got the cash that they will deposit into multiple people's account. There are people who do this, knowingly assisted. They know how to do it. The cash is taken and deposited, rotated, and then bought into this public issue. As application money, sometimes they'll take DD and bring it. Small amounts. 2,000 people will give small amount. 2,000 people, let's do the math. 2,000 people will give, 2,000 people will give, let us say 25,000 on an averaging, 25,000. I'm getting a number of 5 crores. So where will I get 2,000 people? There are people in this country, 1 billion people in this country. So you locate, there are people, you deposit in the account, then immediately transfer. They'll open an account. For this purpose, they'll open an account. in ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, IDFC Bank. Now you come to the point. Sir, how about KYC, sir? That time, the bank will not bother about KYC. When you and I want to open a bank account, see, I am having 2 houses in a place called T Nagar in Chennai. Okay. The bank which is next door to me, State Bank of India, who knows me, and I'm a practicing CA in that next door building, my office is there, 3 floors. He will say, I don't know who you are. Prove yourself. Show me KYC. I'll give you Aadhaar card, PAN card, driving license, passport. Sir, this passport photo is not clear, sir. Give me one more card. Yo, I am so. Membership to the Institute of Chartered Accountants. No. That and all we don't know, sir. Our bank is having KYC. So I have to prove myself. But this will go on side by side. I'm not joking, sir. Fact. I've exposed this. I can name the bank also. IDBI Bank. Without KYC, they have opened an account for a fraudulent matter. I took them to the ombudsman. I took them to the banking ombudsman and got compensation for my client. Why I'm telling this, banks are only claiming all this KYC and all only for ordinary citizens like you and me. Criminals, when they come, please come. Hi, AG. Let's have a cup of coffee. What do you want? Okay, you want to open 50 accounts in one shot here? Take it. Just give me some names and, some address. We'll take care. Yeah, don't worry. Go. So immediately all this open. And then from that DD is taken and given to the company. Then company will get it as subscription money. Shares are allotted. Physical shares are issued, kept in the name of, that will be held carefully by the promoters. Now what happens? The promoter's money has come into the company. Now using this, the promoter will buy assets and all, run the company. But they just want the capital. That's not that tomorrow they're going to take the money out. Later on, when the share price goes up, maybe they will sell it in those names and all, pay that 20% tax. I don't know really what somewhere how to get out of it, I don't know. But as of now, my problem is solved now. There was cash, something like 5 crores. That 5 crore cash has gone into the system. It has gone through the process of money laundering. It has come into my company as public issue subscription. Public also subscribed. Some Bakras also subscribed to this company too. Some press fellows were bribed and they wrote beautiful discount. Dubakur Limited is one of the best companies in the current public issue. Please invest. And some donkeys invested in that also. And who gave them, I don't know, they will invest. I'll openly tell when they ask me, Mr. Srikanth, are you not investing in this public issue? I'll say, boss, I will not be a party to money laundering. How do you know, sir? I know, sir, who the promoter is. I don't know what he's trying. I know what he's trying to do here. No, but the business is genuine. It may be genuine, sir. I appreciate what he's doing. Maybe if you invest in this company, you might earn wealth, but you would be a party to money laundering, knowingly or unknowingly. Luckily, the section does not talk about unknowingly, but even you can guess, this is my view. Personal view, there are some companies where money laundering has been used, but the share prices have gone up. But in the long run, all these companies are folded because the goal, basically a criminal is running that company. He may be a smart criminal, but one day or the other he will cheat you also. See, when you go and join with a cheater and a fraud, initially he might be good for you, but over long run he is a fraud. He will defraud you also. Finally, he will see the dog will bite a cow, goat, cow, then finally it will bite the man. It will come to you. Okay. And when it comes to you, by then it's too late. You would have swindled the company and run away. Your investment is gone. So that is why better avoid such known money laundering cases. Okay, you might ask me, does such money laundering still happen? No. Because of dematerialization. Not only dematerialization. The DP accounts today, without KYC, you cannot open. And everything is digital. See, today you cannot deposit cash. Okay, your went running around into various bank accounts, deposits. Then finally it came in as application money. Then the share certificates are printed. Then those share certificates are not given to the owners. No way. Those are going to be kept safely in some locker. That becomes a property. Now are you able to understand? Proceeds of crime. Why? Because, see, that locker will be seized. That locker will be raided. And they will have said, this is your locker, sir. Why are all these share certificates lying in your locker? They are in the name of Ram, Kishan, Lakan. Why are they lying in your locker? No, sir, this, there, that, sir. No. Who are they? Why their share certificates you are holding? Why should they not be having it there? Then clearly they are benamis. That is how they will get. But If nothing happens, if it is concealed, then this fellow will enjoy the ownership of the company, na? Because at an AGM, who will come and vote? Yeah, those shareholders of those shares will come and vote. They won't even turn up. So this promoter only is going to control this company. Am I correct? So that being the case, he will enjoy the proceeds of crime. Okay. So if someone was going to ask me, sir, how money laundering will be done, I have given 2 examples of money laundering. Already I have given you 2 examples. One, a corrupt government officer, how he uses binamis. Then a promoter who has got black money, how he converts it into investment in his venture. Like that, I can give you 100 examples. I have not come to international yet. I have not come to international yet because international money laundering was taught. International money laundering was taught by another great man to the whole of this country. I'm not joking. The great superstar. He taught, in that movie you can see, you want to understand money laundering, you just watch Shivaji movie. You will understand money laundering. Boss, one stage, you know what will happen, what this guy will do. Beautiful movie, popular movie. In fact, it inspired people. It said, this movie, what a movie. This is how black money should be attacked, all that. But in a way, what was he doing? He was going to all the big shots. Okay, the engineering college, people are running engineering colleges, people are running medical colleges. All these fellows, who got cash. He learned from the drivers and from their auditors, which is very bad. No? Our profession was insulted in that movie. That's different. Coming back to the point, drivers, close people, he got information from them by beating them. See, you watch that movie, you'll know how it is. He'll take them into the office and hit them. Then they will tell the truth. And using all that information, he sees the property. He goes income tax officer. See, what you should know, and this is very important, even the CBI cannot seize. Only the customs guys can seize. The income tax wallahs can seize. Only these 2 guys are the power to seize. Then it will be distributed between everybody. Okay, CBI cannot seize. CBI cannot touch the asset. If they have found any in their raid or in their search, they have found something, immediately they'll blow the whistle, call the IT. The income tax people will come straight. And then the search will continue as a income tax search. So this guy goes in as income tax search and he collects it and he takes it. Now what he does, what happened now? There's a cash. Should I throw it in the river or burn it? Or I will give you 50%, I will take 50%. Are you okay for it? So they will agree to 50%. Then this will take the 50%, which he will keep in, along with the cow dung and all, he'll keep it. And then that is when the money laundering starts. Watch that movie again if you want. Where that money goes. It goes to, I don't want to name any particular thing, but it goes to one group who will take the cash. How they are able to take the cash? Because they can distribute the cash. They can diffuse the cash. So the cash goes off. Now, their counterparts in US, this is where the money laundering comes. Their counterparts in USA, Europe, they take cash and they deposit it in Shivaji Foundation account. Cash. Are you able to understand? Or that cash is given to people, Indians abroad, who are doing some great service to Indian economy, and they deposit it in their account. Cash is deposited, and then it is given as a donation to Shivaji Academy and Shivaji Foundation. Comes back to India. Now Shivaji Foundation is having that money. Sir, in a scene or a montage of about 5 or 6 scenes, you are taught money laundering. The real thing is what happens to the money which is given to these autowalas in India. 1. 2. The money that is put into the bank account of the American NRIs, where does it come from? It is not their money. It is this money. How did it go all the way there? That to here it is given as Indian rupee. How it become dollar there? That is money laundering. This entire thing is facilitated because of narcotics, because of terrorism, and because of smuggling. So in a way, Shivaji may have reduced corruption and black money movie, but he was encouraging terrorism, narcotics, and everything. Prostitution, you name crime that needs cash. that needs cash. See, terrorist needs cash. So he will take this cash. So the same terrorist has got sources in US. Okay, where they will give the cash. Okay. I'm being very blunt and blatant here. I know, even at the cost of irritating some of you who are fans of Superstar, but even I am a fan but then, I mean, why blame Superstar? Because did he write the story? Did he write the screenplay? Whoever wrote the screenplay, whoever wrote the story knew what they were doing. And they knew that, and nobody realized that this is money laundering. Shivaji Foundation may not have been guilty of anything, but they are guilty of money laundering. But the beauty is, it is very difficult to find out because every entry that comes into Shivaji Foundation is accounted from a foreign source. This you will see when you come to Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. There we'll catch him. So who are these foreign sources? Why did they give you? But in that movie, it is done so beautifully. They are all normal people in US. Address is there. Everything is there. Source is there. They're giving it. That way it was seen as some sort of a reformation movie. But within that framework, he is encouraging money laundering. Because if you want to bring that black money back into circulation without paying tax, the only way to do it is through money laundering. Otherwise, you cannot. See, since it comes to the Shivaji Foundation, which is exempted under Section 12A, no tax. Anyway, what to do? If I keep telling this too much also, you will get angry with me. Anyway. So some of the popular ways through which money is laundered. Stock market. I gave you an example of primary market where it is done. Today it is not possible, sir. Today it is not possible. Very difficult. It is not worth it. Instead of saying it is not possible, I will say it is not worth it. Because everything is digital, closely monitored. You don't have the delay is not there. Yes. Agricultural products. Meaning you pay cash and you buy the agricultural products like that. Or you convert it into, means you pay more for agricultural products and you get the agricultural products. So that you convert it. You put your money into the product and you get the product and you sell it. So the difference money is in cash. Agricultural land, property market. Property market is still a good sink, SINK, for black money. It can absorb. It can absorb. Because tier 2, tier 3 cities anywhere in India, you find there is a big gap between the stamp valuation and the value and the real market values. So long as this difference is there, so that's why in between what they did, they raised the guideline values. But foolishly, they raised the guideline values immediately after the recession. So that the property market got totally destroyed because of that. Okay. So, just joking. Sometimes when I'm saying something, don't take it seriously. I'm thinking maybe some people will get angry because I'm telling something bad about Rajinikanth, which is almost like telling something bad about God. That is why. So, I'm sure CA students have got more maturity. Beware of fake companies. That's what you were saying now, Purviban. Fake companies are formed into which cash is deposited into the bank account in small amounts. Then once it is all collected, it is transferred another company. Finally, it is brought to where we want it to come. So on and so forth. Creating bogus companies. Now you understand what I said? Bogus company is not a method of generating illegal, but it is a method of laundering illegal. Okay. But finally, my dear friends, this money has to come to me back or come to you back. Means our black money has to come back to us. Only then the whole process is worth it. Right? That's the point. See, I have heard the story from our past president of our institute, Sri R. Bhupati. He used to tell the story every time when we used to talk about clubbing of income. Clubbing. So that is, he used to tell that as usual, like I'm not telling in a joke. Idea was a joke to bring about a little humor in the class. Making it dry, he used to tell that humor. So don't immediately get serious. So there was a very rich person, very rich man, rich young man, got a lot of wealth through his ancestor property, blah, blah. Very nice. Purva Punyam is there. So he's got a lot of money. Now this guy goes to his auditor and says, look here, auditor, what are you doing? I'm paying you so much fees. You're not working for it. Give me some tax planning ideas, man. What are you doing? Not doing tax planning. See, unfortunately, we have given the impression that our value is only by giving tax planning ideas. No, sir. My value is helping you to be compliant. I keep telling my clients, my value is not in reducing your tax burden. No, sir. If that is how you define me, I think you have misunderstood. Not only misunderstood me, you have misunderstood business itself. Business is not evading tax. Business is making money, paying taxes, growing. If you believe in that, I'll be a great auditor for you because I will help you to be compliant. Of course, in that process, I will ensure that you pay the correct amount of taxes, not a penny more than what you are bound to pay. That is my job. I'll take care of that. But reducing the tax, because when you start doing tax planning, see what happens. The gentleman goes to the auditor. Poor auditor also, not exactly poor. Whatever the auditor thinks, okay, you want tax planning. He's asking, sir, tell me something about yourself. Are you married? No, I'm not married. But I'm going to get married. My fiance is there. We fell in love and I'm going to marry her. Oh, really? Wonderful. You're not yet married to that lady now. Beautiful. Come. I'll tell you an idea. You got assets now. You divide it. 50% of the asset you transfer to her now. Because now she's not your wife, Baba. Only if you transfer it to your wife for inadequate consideration, it will become taxable, clubbing in your hands. So now you transfer it to her. So that she will pay a portion of the tax, you will pay a portion of the tax, you can reduce the tax burden. Like that, some blah blah he gave. Chalo. So our man, you are a wonderful auditor. I will do this immediately. So he transferred 50% of property to her. Rental income comes to her and also that. Beautiful tax planning. He went around telling his friends in the club and all, hey, my auditor, he's giving such wonderful ideas now. Finally, about 3 months later, property is transferred. 3 months later, marriage day is fixed. So this guy goes for the marriage and all. Bride not to be found. Chalo. Auditor also not to be found. This is the danger in tax planning. See, I don't know whether you understood the story. Bride not to be found. Property is now in her name, Baba. She says, guy, I'm not coming for marriage. What about my property? What my property? That is my property now. Auditor also not to be found. In the sense, he is also, he's married this girl and gone away. They both sold the assets and ran away. That is enough now. I have 50% of what? Crores. Why practice and waste time giving tax planning advice to fools like this? Go away. Anyway, again, story. Okay, kahani hai. Idea is not to tell you anything, but to make you feel that tax planning is not a good thing. Be careful. Sometimes I tell the story to my clients. I see, tax planning is a danger, man. Be careful. No, sir. Let us not do tax planning. Nothing, sir. You tell me what to do, I will do. Yes, I will tell you what is a tax. You pay it. Luckily for us, our enlightened Prime Minister has reduced the tax burden. New regime is there. Low taxes, slowly. You know what? Australia, 40%. There was an Australian gentleman who was the CEO of one of our ODT clients, a Finnish company. He was Australian. He was residing in Singapore. This Australian, under the double taxation avoidance agreement, for the first year, he had the option of either paying it here or in Australia. So I told him, sir, this year you have a chance if you want to be paid in Australia, paid in Australia. Then he said, what's your tax rate? So I calculated the tax and showed him, hey, only so much? I will pay the tax in India. Then only I realized that when compared to Australia, we are a tax haven. Our taxes are lower. So this gentleman, he paid the tax in India. He was so happy that Indian taxes are lower. Of course, they charge 40% tax on income on anybody. No progressive, nothing, no slab, nothing. Straight away, $1 you earn, 40% you pay, 40 cents you pay and go. 60 cents you take home, do whatever you want with it. It's straight. But that country, they give you free medical, free education up to school, high school, no charges. Any child, she or he can attend top class education without any money. In fact, they are compulsory education. Truant's control is there, where the school, every district, every municipal corporation, they will have officers who will run around and check whether the child is actually going to school or not, and take them to school. Okay, and free medical. And in case the man loses the job or the lady loses the job, every month they give him $800 or $900. Some dole is there. With that, at least he can eat and be happy. Roads are perfect. See, 40% is collecting. That entire 40% goes into infrastructure and welfare. If that is happening, then we can pay 40%. No? What is that? But in India, we are Definitely lower tax, no? 25. Not bad. So pay taxes, hold your head high is the humble suggestion I can make. Chalo. So 3 stages in money laundering. Placement. Illegal funds or assets are brought into the financial system. Layering. Use of multiple accounts, banks, intermediaries, corporations, etc. to disguise the origin. Integration. Funds are made available as apparently legitimate. In the public issue example I gave, did you see the 3 parts? Placement. The illegal funds are distributed to various people who then deposit it into their multiple bank accounts. And then from those accounts, it is invested in the company as public issue funding. Then it is made available as apparently legitimate capital of the company. The company is run by the promoters. So, stages in money laundering. See, I'm giving you 1 or 2 examples. I'm sure if you put a room in 5-star hotel and think for one whole day, you will come up with much, much better ideas within this broad framework. I'll show you the picture. Typical money laundering scheme. So there is a dirty money which is collected and then it is placed through multiple bank accounts. It is integrated into the financial system, then transferred to the bank account of the company X. Then it is maybe sent abroad. This is called circuiting. Later on, in FEMA itself, this is prohibited. CEL, another beautiful method where you take all this money, give it to people who deposit it in their bank accounts, and then it's all collected in one company. Then that company has a subsidiary, then that subsidiary. That's why 2 layers of subsidiary, not more than that. Then 3rd layer of subsidiary, 2nd layer of subsidiary, it transfers it to another company, and finally it goes offshore. Okay, Cayman Island, whatever. And then it comes back to India as foreign direct investment. This is called circling. You can see the circle there. It comes back to the group, same group as genuine money. Classic money laundering. There some amount of technology is used for transferring the money. Financial NEFT is done. What technology? And then finally, once the money has come into this thing in the form of FDI, then it is used to purchase luxury assets, financial investment. This is called circling. Okay. So as I told you, once you know these methods, if I give you, if I put room for you in 5-star hotel, you can sit one whole day. If you think, you will come up with new ideas for going to jail. Don't do that. Don't do money laundering. Okay. Chalo. So we already know this. I don't want to waste your time with this. Placement is the first step in money laundering. Idea is to take the cash and somehow push it into the legal financial system. Okay. Then moving that funds. That is called layering. Because if it goes directly, it is easy to locate. So you start pushing it out. This is where there is some degree of talent and maybe some degree of technology, where you keep shifting it from account to account, cover up the trail so that, it's very difficult to link it all up. And then, which is why, generally, if you are a CFO of a company, please ensure that there aren't too much intercompany borrowings. If intercompany loans, intercompany investments, borrowing, continuously you keep transferring funds between your own group companies, this itself will be looking as if you're doing some kind of money laundering. More so if you have FDI in one of these companies, FDI coming into one of these companies and all, then immediately the enforcement directorate, which is part of your FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, they will they will take the data from the bank and then come to you and say, please come and tell us what this is. Tell us the story about it. So I have represented for many clients. I told them again and again, Baba, don't do this. So no, sir, when we need money, we will take like this. If you do that, then be prepared for answering all these questions. So we used to keep track of every entry and show where the source is coming from. And so there's no circling, Baba. The FDI is coming in one company. This money is coming from another company. There's no circling. Like that, I have to prove it. Okay, but it can be proved because this is a genuine case, not a layering case. But in a layering case, what will happen? This deposited cash will be pushed into one company, then another company, then go abroad, then come back as FDI. Which is why most of the money that's coming in as PE funding, all this so-called startup funding, basically is circulating, circular funding. It's going out and coming back. Sorry to say this. Much of it is circulated funding. No American is interested in investing in our companies. So again, our money is going out and coming back. Sorry to say this. So that is what integration. The reinsertion of the laundered proceeds back into the economy in such a way that they re-enter the financial system as normal business funds. Okay, and so on and so forth. So this is a typical money laundering scheme. Class section 4. We'll just another 5 minutes. We'll finish the offense punishment, and then we will go on for a small break. So punishment for money laundering. Offense of money laundering, simple. 3 years imprisonment and fine. Minimum. Maximum 7 years and fine. No problem. Where the proceeds of crime involved in money laundering relate to any offense specified under paragraph 2 of part A. Remember, where it involves paragraph 2 of part A, then punishment is minimum 3 years and fine, maximum is 10 years and fine. These offenses, this so-called paragraph 2 of part A are offenses under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, 1985. Okay, 1985. So there, see, internationally, narcotics is seen as some kind of a danger. See, what happened? The Western developed countries used narcotics as a method of funding or encouraging local wars. Right, local wars. But slowly what happened? The drugs, started infiltrating into, they pushed drugs into third world countries, thinking that they can weaken them. But unfortunately, these drugs started infiltrating into US, Europe. And today, the youth of Europe and England in US are drug addicts. And drug addiction has become such a serious issue everywhere. For example, in the northeastern states, almost everywhere, even India, we have a serious, not as serious as in US, where college students are 20 to 30% of them who join school and college. The drug peddlers are constantly, feeding them with drugs. They become addicts and all that. So, drug addiction. So that's why this is serious. So if the offense is under the Narcotics and Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, then 10 years imprisonment. So that's all. Try to remember this punishment. My humble suggestion is remember the punishment, because exam they have asked you what is the punishment. They have exactly asked you what is the punishment. See, this is a question. Okay. Mr. Honest and Notorious. See, he's notorious means what? Notorious is meaning famous, opposite notorious. Famous means well known for a good reason. Famous, well known. Actually, famous is well known, but for a good reason. So you say he's a famous person, you don't mean that he's a bad person. You mean he's a good person. But when you say notorious, it means well known for a bad reason. He is well known, but for a bad reason. You know that fellow, notorious fellow, yeah, always cheating. Be careful of that fellow, like that. So Mr. Honest was a notorious. Notorious means known criminal. Known criminal. In fact, sometimes, when there is a possibility of violence or some possibility of, Gundaism in a city or something, the police will go to certain places of the city. They will arrest certain known criminals. They will say, hey, you come, man. We will decide what charge later. You come, I'll put you in jail. Because if I put you in jail, you can't go out and do Gundaism. So for the safety of everybody, will put you in jail. Such powers are there with the police. Because these fellows would have gone to jail many times for creating disturbance and also. They say, you already gone 20 times. This is the 21st time. If I put you in jail, you won't go out. Now, come and put. So they will also go. They also know. Sir, I'm not going to do that, sir, this time. Okay, anyway, you come. Okay. So Mr. Honesty and Notorious was caught in possession of counterfeit currency notes. An offense specified under Part A of paragraph 1. See, they've given this information to you. Should you remember the schedule? I'm not giving the schedule here, though it is there in your institute material. Glance through it. But remember, if they won't ask you in depth in the schedule, they themselves will give whether it's paragraph 1 or paragraph. State the punishment that can be awarded to him under the above act. Also identify the punishment for the offense specified under Part A, paragraph 2 of the schedule of the prevention. So the idea is that you should be aware that there's a slightly higher punishment for paragraph 2 offenses involving narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Mr. Dawood Musa. See, Dawood Musa, that these two words, if you know your, if you know about in those days, there was a guy called Dawood Ibrahim. Dawood Ibrahim was a terrorist and a smuggler, mainly a smuggler. Dawood Ibrahim. Okay. Some of these movies that you've been seeing now about all that. Suddenly in Bombay, fellow will go there in the crowd, he'll aim his revolver at one person, contract. It's called contract killing. Supari killing it's called. Supari killing. Contract killing. So Dawood was one of those specialists in that. So you want to get one guy killed, your competitor in business in Bombay, you want him to be killed because fellow is irritating you, then you couldn't go to Dawood. My God, you can't go to Dawood Ibrahim directly. You will go through some local agent and then that agent will talk to somebody and then Dawood may not even come online, but sometimes Dawood says, what is this, how much, okay, who is that, what is that, okay, 5 crores, finish, okay, cash. Now you understand why cash is needed. Now you understand where the cash, which Shivaji gives to the auto drivers, where that cash goes. Now you understand? It goes as payment for Supari killings. Okay, so Dawood Ibrahim was a famous one. Finally, he got arrested. No, he's not at arrested, he's abroad. But many of his properties, proceeds of crime, have been confiscated under the smuggling, coffee pasa. I remember because the officer who was in charge for, the appropriate authority is well known to me. He was the man who auctioned Dawood Ibrahim's house in Bombay. There were death threats and all. Dawood Ibrahim said, it won't be in his name, it will be in the name of Benami. But it's known that it is Dawood's. And the Benami could not prove who it is. He could not prove the source. So they said, we'll confiscate it. Then they sold it. So it was auctioned and somebody bought Dawood Ibrahim's house and all. Dawood Ibrahim. Similarly, there was a famous gold smuggler in 70s, Haji Musa. It's called Haji Musa. Gold smuggler. In those days, 70s gold smuggling was a big thing. In fact, in many movies, if you want to see criminals and all shown, they will be shown as smuggling gold. Especially, they will be getting into boats in the seashore and all. They'll be chased because they'll be carrying this gold and smuggling it to a ship in the high seas through a boat. So that is called, or they will be bringing it in. The boat will come in with this gold. So he will take it in fast. So the port customs authority is constantly monitoring. They will have information. One ship is going to offload gold through the boat. So they will be the customs, the Coast Guard, they will chase this boat. Finally, that boat, all action scenes, shots. That was Haji Musa. So they have combined these two terms, Dawood and Musa. So Dawood Musa, a known smuggler, was caught in transfer of funds illegally exporting narcotic drugs from India to some countries in Africa. State the maximum punishment that can be awarded to him under prevention. That is why I said, please remember the punishment. Okay, in this case. Chalo. Before we get into attachment, not attachment with people. That is also dangerous. Attachment is also dangerous. But here we are going to talk about attachment of property. Chalo. Let's have a small break for about 10 minutes till 8:55. I'm sorry, 7:55. Right? 7:55. Okay. Sir, small break, sir. Ji, small break. from your well-deserved break and moving on with our as I told you, we are going to move on to the next part. So here up to now we have been seeing prevention of money laundering. There are two goals now. Just to go back and show you. Two goals, objectives. Prevention of control of money laundering. Also confiscation and seizure. So now we are moving to the next thing. See, when money laundering is found, obviously there will be a lot of property which would be seized. So attachment is one method by which the government takes possession of property or prevents property from being transferred. To attach means to, you attach something to it, means you hold it, or attach. That means it is caught. It's like a clip. You attach. So once you attach property, it is kept. It cannot be transferred. So attachment means prohibition of transfer, conversion, disposition or movement of property by an order issued under Chapter 3. So power to attach is not peculiar to PMLA. Many laws give power to attach. For example, FEMA, there is attachment power. Essential Commodities Act, attachment power. Forest Act, attachment power is there. Wildlife Conservation, attachment power is there. Most enactments have these attachment powers. Okay, where there is a proceeds of crime or any property used in perpetration of a crime. Any property used in committing a crime that can be attached. Okay. So, how does it happen? Initially, there is something called provisional attachment. So the director of you might see if you are a student of income tax at the final level, you might have come across the word attachment in income tax also. Means when any tax is to be paid by the citizen, he is not paid it, there is a power given to the officer, income tax officer, the assessing officer, we'll call him, not income tax officer, assessing officer, to attach bank account or any property. So what will happen is so that for the purpose of recovery proceedings, attachment is possible. Similarly, if the bank account is money is not there, then any property is there in the name of the assessee, then those properties can be attached, which means they will send a letter to the sub-registrar informing the jurisdictional sub-registrar, wherever the land is situated. There will be one guy who's in charge for that registration. So if that land is to be sold, the sale deed, document of title should be registered with that sub-registrar only. So that revenue authority, in each state there will be, it's a state subject. So that gentleman would be given a letter by the income tax department saying, please do not permit sale of this property because there is a attachment. There is a tax due. Then of course, later they will sell that property and recover the tax. I'm just giving you an example of attachment from income tax example. Okay. So here, this is a different context. The power to attach is with the director or other officer below the rank of deputy director. There is an enforcement directorate, ED. Similar to the guy whom you studied in FEMA. The same enforcement directorate only will be here also, director. Or other officer not below the rank of deputy director has reasons to believe, and that reason is to be recorded in writing on the basis of material in possession, that any person is in possession of any proceeds of crime, and that such proceeds of crime are likely to be concealed, transferred, or dealt with in any manner which may result in frustrating any proceedings relating to confiscation of such proceeds of crime. So the idea of attachment is not to attach and hold it, but once the case is finalized, once the judgment is given, yes, this is money laundering, then this attached property will be confiscated, meaning it will be appropriated to the government treasury. If it is a bank, it's a money, it will be transferred fully and it will be taken to the government treasury. If it is a property, then they will take action. For example, sale, and the proceeds of the sale will be taken to the government treasury, whatever. But if I don't attach now, it is likely that during the proceedings, this fellow will sell the property or take the cash, whatever. So in order to prevent that, they will attach. So that is why this is called provisional attachment. So such director or officer may in writing provisionally attach such property. This is very, very important for a period not exceeding 180 days from the date of the order in such manner as may be prescribed. See, there are certain levels of authority, depends on the amount, who has to give the permission. That is within the department. See, who has to do it, who can do it, distribution of authority is there. Whatever it is, attachment is possible for a period of not exceeding 180 days. Remember, possession is a crucial ingredient in attachment. If the proceeds of crime are not in the possession of the person, then attachment is not possible. See, remember, it could be the Benami also. Why? Because the Benami is also guilty of the offense of money laundering, because he is knowingly assisting. So don't worry. Sir, it is not in the name of the Dawood, sir. It is in the name of Muhammad Ibrahim. So, okay, sir, what is that? Zola is also, you have now established the link now. Muhammad is not able to explain how he got the money for buying the property. And we are able to, also we are having other witnesses and other people saying that they have to attach. This fellow is also Zubari killer. All that we have established. Where documentation is there now. We are now going to file a criminal case against this fellow. So he is also a party. So property will be attached straight away. But that property should be in his possession. The bank account money should be in the bank. When he is not in possession, how can you attach it? So possession is a crucial ingredient in attachment. Again, you cannot confiscate unless you have attached it. You cannot confiscate unless you have attached. Okay. So first you have to establish the nexus. You have to show that it is a proceeds of crime. Then you have to show that it is in his possession. Straight away send an attachment order. That's all. Nothing can be done after that. It will be blocked. Now, 180 days it can be attached. But for that period, you can exclude the period during which proceedings are stayed by a high court. Add a further period not exceeding 30 days from the date of order of vacation of such stay. Okay. Usually what will happen, whenever an attachment order is given, the party will go and rush to the government and court, high court, under a writ jurisdiction. And the court will order stay of proceedings. Okay. During that time, the attachment order will be lifted. Immediately the public prosecutor will come argue, and then again the stay will be lifted. All this will cost money. Who will be enjoying all at the time? Not chartered accountants, lawyers. Specialized there, they will specialize in money laundering. There are lawyers like criminal law. See, there are people who practice criminal law, right? That is not a lawyer can do it. Nothing wrong in that because he has to practice. So he can do. They'll specialize in criminal law, getting bail, vacating stay, all that. So they will argue why the stay should be not be vacated and all that. Before an attachment is made, a report should be forwarded to a magistrate under the Criminal Procedure Code, or a complaint should have been filed by a person authorized to investigate the offence mentioned in that schedule before a magistrate for taking cognizance of the scheduled offence. So by and large, scheduled offence would be there. Either you would have been, most of the time, fellow would have been caught red-handed. Meaning, in the process of smuggling. See, he would have entered the airport. Please open your suitcase, sir. He opens. Nothing is, only clothes are there. Then they cut open the side lining. There they find drugs are there. That's it. He'll be immediately arrested under coffee bosa. Taken to jail for 48 hours. In the meantime, this drug, cocaine, high quality cocaine, uncut cocaine will be confiscated by the narcotics authorities. Scheduled offence. Okay. This is the proceed of crime. Same way he might be caught with cash also, unexplained cash, unexplained foreign exchange, whatever. Where did you get it from like that? Usually, the guy who's actually bringing it in would be a smaller player in that link. That is the problem in this whole thing. So getting that guy has no benefit for anybody, because that is part of the collateral damage. So suppose out of 50 guys smuggling every month, one guy gets caught, that is included in the pricing of the product. So that is, one guy gets caught. Even if we can get him out. Otherwise, take it, boss. Take it and go. Enjoy. Take that. What to do? You take it. So I'm just telling this as a reality. I'm not trying to justify smuggling of narcotic substances. I'm saying there is a reality. So when you catch this mule, as we call them, they're called mules, okay, or sparrows. Their job is to just go bring and come back. They are low-level criminals who are nothing, good for nothing fellows, who have nothing better to do. They are the guys who will do this. The real kingpins will be sitting in the background. You don't know who they are. So a complaint has been filed by a person authorized to investigate the offence mentioned in that schedule before a magistrate or court for taking cognizance of the scheduled offence. Or a similar report or complaint has been made or filed under the corresponding law of any other country. If the director or any other officer not below the rank of deputy director has reasons to believe, again, he can have in the mind that has to be recorded in the file, recorded in writing, on the basis of material in his possession, that if such property involved in money laundering is not attached immediately, the non-attachment is likely to frustrate any proceeding. So, property of any person, because what could have happened, that the property could have been quickly transferred to a third party who is seemingly unconnected. But further investigation shows he is knowingly aware that he has bought the property, knowing that it is proceed of crime. So, he is also now caught. So even though it is not in the hands of these two guys, it's gone to a total third party. That third party's property can be attached, provided you show that it has a nexus with the money laundering. Even if he has bought it for in good faith, let us assume in good faith, prove it and go, Baba. Now we will take it. Provisionally attaching, Baba, you come to court, be impleaded as a party, or you bring your lawyer, prove it, take it, go. Okay. As of now, one thing we know, this property was once a proceed of crime. You bought it, you are telling without knowledge. Prove it, come, prove it. Till then, we will take it away and keep it. Because I can't keep it in your hand. Let it be attached. You don't sell it. Nobody should be able to sell it. If the case be decided by the court, then we will see what is to be done with it. If he says, sir, I gave money to that fellow, no, go and ask him. Please go to him and ask. Tell him that property has been attached under the Money Laundering Act. Kindly give my money back. If he gives your money back, take it. Who is that other person? Dawood Ibrahim. Go and talk to him. Okay. Post attachment, a copy of the attachment order shall be forwarded to the adjudicating authority by the director. Okay. See, this is the pure procedure. Once the provisional attachment is made, the order should be forwarded to the adjudicating authority. This word adjudicating authority, hopefully you would have studied it when you were studying FEMA. Because under FEMA, any offense under FEMA, section 13 of FEMA, will be decided by the adjudicating authority. So usually director, okay, or additional director. They will be the adjudicating authority, okay, or by the director. So the director or any other officer who provisionally attaches any property shall within a period of 30 days from such attachment file a complaint stating the facts of such attachment before the adjudicating authority. So the matter will come before the adjudicating authority. Now please note the third point, which is very interesting. This section shall not prevent the person interested in the enjoyment of the immovable property attached from such enjoyment. For example, anybody who's actually in possession of that property can continue to enjoy that property. Person interested in relation to any immovable property includes all persons claiming or entitled to claim any interest in the property. For example, there is a property in the heart of Mumbai. Okay. Say, for example, Ghatkopar. You went through the documents, you found everything was ordered, your lawyer said it's good and all, you bought it. Later on, it's appearing that this is a proceeds of crime. Fellows have come and attached it. Now you are still in possession, Baba. You are renting it out and rent is coming. All that you can continue to enjoy. But property cannot be sold because it's attached. So you are a person claiming or entitled to claim any interest. Now what you should do, you should include yourself in the bigger criminal case. Implead yourself. You have to take your lawyer and he will include you as one of the correspondents. And you will be an independent party. The accused will be there. The proceedings happen against the accused. You will be keeping on every hearing. You will also go and keep shouting, Your Honor, please note it, that property, I bought it. This is the proof. And that will take another 20 years. Don't worry for this case to be decided. Superbly, it will take time. And all lawyers will enjoy. The lawyers will be having a field day on that activity. So once in 3 months, 4 months, one hearing will come. You will all go. Everybody will come. Or one fellow won't come. The accused lawyer will come and say, sir, we are not ready for arguments, sir. No. That's all, end of story. Okay, adjourn 23rd August, you can come on 23rd August, come in November, that's all, matter over. Go. No, November. Then all the lawyers will charge all their clients 1 lakh or 2 lakhs because I came now, I stood up, I got time for you, pay me 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, like that. All of them will pay. Okay. Maybe we are doing a mistake now. Instead of doing CA, we should do law. Huh? That is why my son, he never even thought of becoming CA. In 8th standard result, he said, I'm going to become an advocate. Not because he wants to do all this sort of nonsense, but because he likes law and he likes to argue, he likes to stand up before court and argue and all. He liked it. So he had a passion for that. So he's become an advocate. He is practicing in Madras High Court. Not criminal law. He does civil, rent control, divorce, all the divorce. He's still starting, rookie. He's just 25 years old. So maybe later he'll specialize. I don't know. So Mr. B purchased a flat out of the proceeds earned by drug trafficking. Wow, what a good man. The flat was attached by the Director of Enforcement after complying the provisions, procedures under Section 5. Fantastic. Mr. B got a stay from the High Court for any proceedings under the said Act. Stay was subsequently vacated. The idea is, what is the period to be taken? Dates are not given. Therefore, all you need to do is write this. Write this and this. That's all. This slide and this slide. Answer. 2-line answer. Again, maybe 3 marks for this, 6 marks. So you write about 4 lines or 5 lines. Okay. Also, there's one more question. Whether C, son of B, can occupy the flat during the period of provisional? Yes, he can. Okay. Simple. You just write those 4 lines, Baba. That's all. You will get full marks. You need not write all sorts of stories there. The answer is there in the slide. Okay. Which is why, if you have not studied PMLA at all, as of today, I have not touched the PMLA, sir. You need not again touch it. What all you heard from me today, my slide, read it thoroughly and go. Okay. Don't be worried. It's not so complicated as you think it is. Hey, just a simple law. Punishment, all that. That's all. Now we come to the adjudicating authorities. So, a little theoretical and boring, no doubt. But then quickly, if you understand it, once this principle is understood, that's all. So these are all authorities, adjudicating authorities, director, additional director, joint director, deputy director, all big shots. We heard once, this fellow just come and more than police they will do. Okay. Such other classes of officers as may be appointed, all sorts of officers, government officers. See, the ability of a government officer to become corrupt is unending. During the reign of Krishnadevaraya in Hampi, there was an officer who was very corrupt. So Krishnadevaraya called his ministers. Do something about that guy, man. Put him in a job where he will not be corrupt. So they said, okay. So the Raja had 2 queens. That Krishnadevaraya had 2 queens. Okay, Tirumala Devi and Chinna Devi. So they said, you take care of the harem. That is all. His job is that. What corruption he can do there, they were thinking. So this fellow went there and told the one queen, he told, see, there is one bell. When I ring that bell, okay, the king, in the middle of the day, the king's rule was morning he'll be here, evening he'll be there. So this fellow told Chinna Devi, she'll come only in the evening. Now what I will do, I will ring the bell 1 hour early so that he'll come 1 hour early to you. Very good idea. You do that. For him, for that, you give me monthly 100. Like that. Chalo, go. So he goes to Tirumala Devi and he says, look here, he's going to be in the morning with you now. I will ring the bell 1 hour late. That's a good idea. You take it. So this fellow used to ring the bell at exactly the same time only. He didn't ring before or after, but both thought they were getting benefited and gave him. This is a level at which government officer can do corruption. So then Krishnadeva found out that this fellow is doing this type of nonsense. So he said, transfer him somewhere where he cannot do corruption. Like it became a challenge. So they said, do nothing. Go to the seashore. All the ships are coming. Machilipatna, all the ships are coming. Just to be there observing the waves. That's all. Count the waves. That is his job. Count the waves. That's all. No job. They were so worried. They don't want any corruption. Fellow goes to the sea and he sits there in the beach and he's counting. One ship is coming. Immediately he goes to the captain. Come here. You know who I am? I'm a government officer. You know what is my job? Counting the wave. You know what you did? You have disturbed a government officer in the execution of his duties. You have made me lose my count of waves. I'm going to punish you for this. No, sir. Please do something, sir. Okay, you take care of me. I will not. My God, the ability of the government officer to take bribe is too much. Okay. And I don't know why I'm telling the story to you in this context, but I'm saying, still, our fight against corruption continues undiminished. I'm sure we will win. One day or the other, we will win against corruption. Okay. Now we move on to another concept, which is not attachment, no adjudication. Meaning passing of an order by which we say whether this guy is to be punished or not. That is called adjudication. So there should be basically a complaint under section 5 in respect of provisional attachment. Do you remember? It goes to a magistrate. Or an application in respect of seized property, which we will see in the next topic. So if the adjudicating authority has reason to believe that any person has committed an offence under section 3 or is in possession of the proceeds of crime, it may serve a notice of not less than 30 days on such person, calling upon him to indicate the following. So basically they have said, this is proceeds of crime. So what they will say, show me sources of income, earning, assets, out of which you have done this. So invariably the guy whose name is mentioned now as the owner is a benami. So he may not have sources. So they will say, prove that it is yours. Yeah. How did he get the money for buying the building? Tell me. So he is not able to do it. So they'll give him enough opportunity to produce. If he is not able to do it, then they will say, show cause why such property should not be declared to be property involved in money laundering and confiscated by some government. Enough opportunity will be given to this guy. Believe me, because if enough opportunity is not given, fellow will go on a writ and say, reasonable opportunity was not given. Principles of natural justice and all. So they will give him 3-5 opportunities. The case will drag. But finally, they will say, decide, it is not yours. Beneficial owner is entitled to notice in form AA. See, somewhere this fellow might come out and blurt out and say, no, sir, this is not my property, sir. You know, it is property of Mr. A. Okay. Then immediately beneficial owner, he will also get notice. Joint holder will get notice. They will also be given an opportunity of being heard. In most cases, they cannot prove. Finally, the adjudicating authority, considering the reply to the notice, hearing the aggrieved person and the director, etc., taking into account and any other officer authorized by him in this behalf, by the director, and taking into account all relevant materials, it shall by order record a finding whether all or any of the properties are involved in money laundering. Once this finding of adjudicating, AA means adjudicating authority. AA means adjudicating authority. Once there is a finding by AA, then the attachment, retention or freezing of the seized or frozen property will continue during the investigation for 365 days. See, attachment was for 180. Now, another 1 year you are getting. Or the pendency of the proceeding before any court, etc. Okay, or any foreign court. And become final after an order of confiscation is passed by the special court. Okay. Hey, I don't see any more questions. Yeah, I hope things are cool. You are not getting bored. So now we go to something called special court. You might ask me, what is this special court? Under the Companies Act also, you might have seen there is a special court. Why? Because High Court can hear, no doubt about it. Or a magistrate court can hear, no doubt about it. But The number of cases pending already is too much. Therefore, in order to reduce the burden on the existing courts, the government has found special courts which only deal with money laundering matter, which will only deal with FEMA, which will only deal with Companies Act like that. So that special court will hear the matter. Okay, they will take up this matter. The director will file, and then they will finally decide at the conclusion of the trial, offense of money laundering has been committed or not. So they can say it is committed. Then the property will be shall stand confiscated to the central government. If they conclude that offense of money laundering has not been committed, then they will order the release of the property. Rarely have I seen that it is not committed, because by the time all this is happening, enough evidence will be collected. Unless, some extraordinarily brilliant advocate is going there and on very, 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 very technical terms is breaking the prosecution. That needs a brilliant advocate, continuously thinking differently and saying, this is not there, that paper was not there. At the time when you went, you didn't serve on him this notice, blah, 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 blah. Finally, the court itself said, what do you say? When they said the proceedings are wrong, sir, therefore the case fails. Like that only you can beat it and come out. No, you are saying this, but all this is that is that, this is that. Did they do this? Did they do that? No. Then proceedings are wrong. Like that only you can escape. Which is why they will also be 100% careful. Every form will be filed, every signature will be taken, everything, confession, everything will be done properly. Nothing will be left, because they know that a smart advocate can come and defeat everything and go in one shot. Okay, where a property stands confiscated under Section 8(5), the special court, in such manner as may be prescribed, may also direct the central government to restore the confiscated property to a claimant with a legitimate interest in the property who may have suffered a quantifiable loss as a result of the offense of money laundering. This fellow should have suffered loss because of money laundering. If such a case is there, then they'll say, hey, this property was used to give him something out of it. But provided should be satisfied that the claimant has acted in good faith and has suffered the loss, despite having taken all reasonable precautions and is not involved in the offense of money laundering. So, see, if you say that you have paid some money, we'll pay it back. Means what? You bought that property now. You paid him so much now. Now we are going to sell it now. Out of the process, we'll give you that money. Whatever you paid, you take it back. That is a loss suffered by you, take it back. Provided you shows that it was done in good faith. Now, vesting of property. Where an order of confiscation has been passed in respect of any property, all the rights and titles shall vest absolutely in the central government, free from encumbrances. The special court or adjudicating authority shall attach or seize the property only after giving an opportunity of being heard to the person interested in the property. We already saw that. If any encumbrance on the leasehold or leasehold interest has been created with a view to defeat the provisions, then such a leasehold interest can be declared to be void. Means, in order to create some interest, okay, then those cases, whether do it only for the purpose of, creating some interested party and all, no, this is done only for this purpose, not allowed. The provision given under this section says that any liability in respect of such encumbrances shall not be discharged. So the idea is, see, you should prove that it was all done in good faith. Okay, and the reasonable precautions were taken to verify. Now, Mr. K used his car for smuggling cash. And finally, they concluded that the offense was committed by Mr. K under the provisions. The car was under hypothecation to a nationalized bank. Whether the car can be confiscated despite the existence of encumbrance, yes, it can be. It can be confiscated, but any claimant who has acted in good faith and has suffered loss may be compensated. So, what the finance company should do is implead itself, show that it acted in good faith, and ask for repayment of that loan with interest to the extent pending. Okay. Of course, the primary liabilities with K can also be proceeded against. They can also implead themselves in the Money Laundering Act. So you have to be very careful whenever, just for your information and future guidance, coming from a man who is 57 years old and who has bought and sold more than, I forget how many cars I own, about easily 12 or 15 cars I have bought and sold over the last so many years. Be very, very careful while buying and selling a car, because Especially, while selling a car, because buying, generally I've got it from the showroom only, never I bought from an individual. But buying also, be careful. Whether see what that car is, who used that car, who are the owner, what is the nature, be careful. Okay, but one thing, if it has been used in the past, you can always say, when I got it without knowledge. Be careful. Selling also, be careful. Once the car is sold, ensure that the buyer gives you a receipt. That is, I have taken possession of the car in good working condition. Okay, and keep it safely. Because even if he does not register in his name, this is your proof that the car was handed over to him, that you did not have possession of the car. I'll tell you why. The early stages of my life, my father had a 800, Maruti 800. The early stages, I was a young man at that time. And my father was in the US and he had sold this car and gone. He had bought another car and then he has gone to this car which he sold. My father, as usual, he said, I trust you, sir, go, no problem. That fellow never gave a possession letter and he went off. Then that car, that agent, the commission agent who took it from my father, took a blank letter from my father, signed, went off. Then he used that blank transfer to sell that car to somebody for some amount. My father got the money from him, he went off. That car was used in Karnataka for smuggling sandalwood. And we got a notice. It so happens, unfortunately, the car was in my name. So I got a notice saying, you have been guilty of smuggling sandalwood. Please appear before the magistrate court in some place in Karnataka in the border. Somewhere, Chamaraj Nagar or something, come there and appear before the authorities and explain why you should not be arrested for smuggling sandalwood. Got frightened. I went to my lawyer and what is this? No, she can go to the agent and get the possession letter somehow. So I went to the agent and I got a possession letter from him that he took possession. Then I kept that as an evidence and I gave an affidavit. On such and such a day, we sold that car. We had nothing to do with it and blah, blah. Then together we sent it to the thing by registered post. So I can't go all the way to Samraj. Luckily, once they got that letter, the forest department, they kept that letter and released me from the list of parties. But I'm saying that taught me a lesson thereafter, never to hand over possession of a vehicle. So the most agents who deal with me know he won't give possession unless the original buyer comes and gives the possession. I'll tell him, see, if you bargain something and you're getting 20,000, 25,000 extra, please go ahead and take it. I have no problem. That is not the reason for calling him. I want him to give KYC and take it. He might say, this, sir, why are you giving us all this nonsense? You're right, but these are small precautions that if you take, your life will become easy. Okay. So once it is taken over, the central government will manage it. For example, if it is rented out, they can collect the rent, maintaining the property. All that will be done by the person. Now, the adjudicating authority is a quasi-judicial authority. It's a quasi-judicial authority. That means what? He has the same powers as a civil court while trying a suit. Remember, SEBI is a quasi-judicial authority. NCLT is a quasi-judicial authority. NCLAT is a quasi-judicial authority. FIAT, the Foreign Exchange Appellate Tribunal, is a quasi-judicial authority. You've already seen so many quasi-judicial authorities. Am I correct? You've also seen Competition Commission. In case you had Competition Act, Competition Commission, quasi-judicial authority. All these authorities have these powers. I'm sure if you already learned NCLT, same powers you would have seen for NCLT also. Discovery and inspection, enforcing the attendance of any person, compelling the production of records, receiving evidence on affidavit, issuing commissions. See, where a witness cannot come because of ill health or age, a commissioner of oath can be sent to that witness to take the deposition and certify it and give it. All that. Any other matter. So, this is the court sheet is a quasi-judicial authority. Remember, it's a double-edged sword. The adjudicating authority is a quasi-judicial authority. Therefore, it is bound by the principles of natural justice. I have challenged, for information, the assessing officer under the income tax proceedings, 143 and 147 proceedings, is a quasi-judicial authority. You can invoke that. When you're appearing before the officer, you can tell him, Sir, I totally agree that you are in a hurry to complete the case and I would like to cooperate with you. But give me a time. Give me 1 week's time to produce the document. Otherwise, sir, you are a quasi-judicial authority. Please remember, the assay should be given a reasonable opportunity. The minute that word reasonable opportunity comes, now they will say, okay, you put it in writing, ask for time, I will give you 1 week, but not more than 1 week. So this is one thing you can use, while taking time, but politely. Don't argue. Don't be rude to the officer and say, you are a you have to give me time, sir, because I'm so and so like that. No, you cannot. After all, he's a government servant. Give him the respect due to him as a government servant. Chalo. So we've successfully, completed adjudication and confiscation and all that. In case you have any questions at this stage, yes, you are welcome to ask me. Simple topic. It's about 6 or 7 important subtopics. If you know that, you are ready. This is another one. Obligation of banking companies, financial institutions, intermediaries and all to report transactions. See, we saw one method of money laundering. Now, what was that? Depositing cash in the bank. So, once you start doing this, they can monitor now which bank accounts money is being deposited, especially when cash is being deposited in SB accounts. Be very careful. Okay, so they've given monetary ceilings to the banks and all, to the jewelers, banks, etc. If anybody is regularly coming to you and dealing in cash, then you report him to me. Okay. In fact, see who are all reporting entities: banking company, financial institution, intermediary, etc. See, again, I will share with you tongue-in-cheek one story. There was a widow. She, through inheritance, she was having a flat in a residential apartment in a nice location in Chennai. It's a HIG flat allotted by the government, worth a lot of money today. Because when it was allotted, it was nothing. That area was boondocks. Now that area is developed and this property is got value. So that what happened was there were, see, in the HIG block, there will be a huge land tract and one middle of it, there will be one apartment building with only 4 apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, huge apartments, beautifully. So in those days they got allotted. It was luck. So all the 4 of them together will sell. Then the builder will buy it and he will demolish the entire structure and build FSA is there. So he will build a huge multi-story structure, huge money. So the premium also is high for that. Okay. The local politician, he wanted to buy that land, that 4 flats. So he negotiated with the other 3 owners. They all agreed to take it. Then they wanted to, buy from this lady also. The condition was, they said, the entire amount I'll give it to you in cash. Like it or not, you take it. They say, how can I take it in cash? What will I do with the cash? How will I spend it? It's a huge amount. 2 crores or 2.5, for that is a big amount for 2.5 crores. So she came to me with her brother and said, it's like this. I gave them suggestion what to do. Reluctantly, I helped them to launder money. So what happened, luckily, out of the 3 crores, about 2 point something crores was value of the property. And in those days, this 2 lakh condition was not there. So entire amount could be received in cash. See, those days. Now, this politician will have a problem in doing this. Because the sub-register will not register. It will be immediately reported to the government. This fellow is paid cash. 3 crores. In those days, sub-register did not have such obligation. He won't do it. Up to 2 lakhs, there was no prohibition. Income tax people won't know about it. And so on and so forth. So this guy went on and he gave cash and he got it registered. And so what to do with the cash? So finally, there was some 75 lakhs or something needed to be converted into white. Sorry. And so they did it because they needed money in white because I think the girl was getting married and going abroad and settling down there. So they wanted to take the money and go out. So I told them open 4 bank accounts. Then each bank account every year you deposit some money up to 3 crore in one account. Like that. No, I gave them ideas. Finally, over a period of time, they deposited and they took it and went off. Sorry for this story, but you might ask me, sir, then you are abetting a money laundering. Not exactly. Dharma, see, dharma has again got to be defined. What that politician was doing was adharma. The widow was suffering. How to help her as a professional? I have to support her. Finally, she got, and they are happy. I don't know where they are. They may be in some foreign country, Canada, US. Bless them. But the point is, see, we are forced to do money laundering. Whatever it is, why I gave them these radars, I told up to 3 lakhs cash per bank account, it would be below the radar. Less than 10 lakhs per person below the radar. Above 10 lakhs will be reported. Still money laundering. Provided you are below the radar. Radar is that 10 lakhs. So any account more than 10 lakhs cash, it will be reported. So these people have to report. Banks, financial institution, etc. Person carrying on the activities of playing games of chance, like that. Inspector General of Registration, our sub-registrar. There the skilling limit is huge, only then some 10 crores or something. Real estate agent, they will not even bother to report. Dealer in precious metals, our friends, the jewelers, persons engaged in safekeeping and administration of cash and liquid securities. See, from one person, no jeweler will get cash more than 10 lakhs. So rarely they will report it. One gentleman should come across the counter 10 lakhs. Now it's not possible also. See how systems are being put in place to prevent. For example, earlier when the cash was received, we used to account it only in grams. So we'll say so many grams. We will say which item was sold. So we'll divide it into 4 or 5 bills and give it. Today, HUDN is there, which means hallmark. So which means each item has to be identified by hallmark. So if I am giving him a 6 lakh worth, chain, 6 lakhs worth, there's one item. I cannot, under one HUDN, I cannot break it into 3 bills or 4 bills. Very, very difficult, sir. Today, money laundering is not easy. And evasion is not easy anymore. The law is tightening. So person engaged in safekeeping and administration of cash and liquid securities, person carrying on such other activities, etc., stockbrokers and all. So they are supposed to maintain records of all the transactions and furnish to the director information relating to such transactions. Okay. And maintain a record of documents evidencing the identity of clients and beneficial owners. Okay. Information maintained, furnished, or verified, save as otherwise provided, shall be kept confidential. Okay. The government will not reveal it to anybody. These records are to be maintained for 5 years from the date of transaction. Records maintained under E, clause E. Okay. Evidencing identity of clients should be kept for 5 years after the business relationship between a client has ended or the account has been closed, which was later. Anytime you should be able to keep it. Every reporting entity should verify the identity of the clients, Aadhaar or any other proof. Examine the ownership and financial position, including source of the fund. So the bank is entitled to ask you the source. Take additional steps to record the purpose of behind conducting the specified transaction. Some banks takes it very seriously and they will keep asking. Where the client fails to fulfill, the entity shall not allow the specified transaction. Okay. Or where it is suspicious, then it should be reported to the authorities. So, in case this is not being done, then the director can issue a warning and direct to comply with and ask periodical reports, etc. So, if you are not happy with the order of the adjudicating authorities, you can go to the appellate tribunal or to the special court, or finally to the, if you are not happy with the order of the special court, you go on appeal to the high court. So again, as you know, under FEMA, you could go on appeal to the appellate tribunal. Similarly, here also you can go on appeal to the appellate tribunal within 45 days. And the matter should be completed as expeditiously as possible, but within 6 months and all that. Okay. So the appellate tribunal shall dispose of the appeal within 6 months. Usually they will say the appellate tribunal shall dispose of the appeal as expeditiously as possible, but not less than 6 months from the date of filing of the appeal. They take 2 years also. They take Delayed justice is denied justice. That is why it is delayed. If the members of a bench consisting of two members differ in opinion, they shall state the point and make a reference to chairman. Chairman will either hear or then he may finally adjudicate. Such point shall be decided on the majority of the members. So in a way, the chairman will get a casting. Like there's a tie, this will come in and say, he can break the day and say, I will side with you, I side with you. If you want to specialize in income tax, go to some of the old decisions of the Kolkata High Court. Sabyasachi Mukherjee might have given third member decisions, superb decisions. Some of the Sabyasachi Mukherjee decisions, especially on section 37 and all, I have read. As part of I was doing a project work for compendium. That time I read. Suppose it's third member issue. Because you see, he will agree with one of the bench members, but on totally different reasoning he will come. He will say it is not business expense allowable, but the reasoning he'll give will be totally different. But finally his conclusion will be not allowable. So the case will be decided against the assessee, go to Supreme Court and all. But how he arrives at the conclusion is totally different. Okay. Or otherwise also, he'll say if it is a business expenditure allowable, he will come to the conclusion by a totally different route. Finally, if you are not happy with the appellate tribunal, go to the High Court within 60 days. And if you are delayed, then High Court can condone the delay for a further period not exceeding 60 days for sufficient cause being shown. Offences under PMLA shall be cognizable and non-bailable. That means what? Automatic bail is not possible. The bail will be fixed by the court and the public prosecutor will be given an opportunity to oppose the bail. That's what it means by non-bailable. Bailable means you appear before the court and say, I'm so and so, this is my identity, I will not run away, my promise. On your own cognizance, you can be left. But non-bailable, no. Because serious offense, that's why it's cognizable and non-bailable. As per Code of Criminal Procedure, cognizable offense is an offense which police officer may arrest without any warrant. Okay, so PMLA offenses are cognizable. I don't know, if Tamil Nadu, there was a case where, some authorities, government authorities, when they went to raid a particular gentleman, the police officers were beaten up. All that. So, I think if there is a competition between states, I don't know which state will win for worst corruption. Person accused of an offence under this act shall not be released on bail or on his own bond. That's what. It's a cognizable. The public prosecutor should be given an opportunity to oppose the bail. And so all that. Okay. This is nothing great here. Sir, maximum question in this area is only on penalties and attachment and confiscation. Period. That's all. And definition of money laundering. Nothing more has been asked. I have gone through the past question papers. I am unable to think. But to be on the safer side, what you do, you study this entire slides. From end to end, you study these slides. Be thorough. Okay. You could get from one of these areas. So then one more, there is something called offense of cross-border implication. Any conduct by a person at a place outside India, which constitutes an offense at that place, which would have constituted an offense under Part A or Part B or Part C of the schedule, had it been committed in India. And that amount is transferred to India. That is a cross-border offense. Offense of cross-border implication. Similarly, it is committed in India. And it is offense in India or part thereof, but the amount has been transferred outside India. Or any attempt has been made to transfer the proceeds of crime or part thereof from India to a place outside India, then that also is an offense involving cross-border implication. See, the example of Shivaji I gave, it's a cross-border implication. Think about it. That money is, Mr. Shivaji has not got it by genuine means, boss. It was originally a black money. This fellow goes and steals it from the people who got it. Then it goes, what happens? It constitutes an offense under Part A. Okay. Then it is transferred to a place outside India. Then again it is transferred back into India. Classic offense of cross-border implication. Okay. I'll just complete this topic, and then with this, the topic will be completed. Then I will explain your question. See, so Mr. Rohit has been in employment in Germany for past 3 years. He was involved in a conduct which constituted an offence in Germany. The conduct would have been considered an offence in India. The proceeds involved was 60 lakhs. Rohit attempted to remit 50 lakhs out of 60, but was not successful. So his attempted also is there, na? Transfers are even attempted to transfer. Okay. Any attempt has been made to transfer the proceeds. Okay. The government of India held this offence as an offence. Can they do that? Yes. It is an offence involving cross-border implication and punishable as under money laundering under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Okay. Now, Madam has the final question. Urvi Ben Prajapati has a, we have to by heart this PPT to get good score. Madam, don't by heart anything. Don't by heart it. Understand it. And remember the basic concept. Okay. Be able to write the concept. Only the important numbers like dates, limits, etc. by heart. The rest of it, just understand the sequence and flow. That's all. Don't mug up or by heart, please. I'm not a great fan of by hearting or mugging up entire books and all that. Okay. So kindly don't by heart. Remember, if you enjoy what you're reading, if you relate to it, it will be in your memory. Don't worry. Okay. If you're very particular, read the topic, then maybe write it in your own words with the highlighting the important points or make charts the way I have done. That way you'll remember it better rather than by heart. Okay. This is my humble suggestion to you all. So fantastic. We have come to a sort of a conclusion for the topic. In case you have any further questions to ask, I can answer if you have, because we have another 10 minutes left, but the topic is over. Some of my big time questioners are not there today. Okay. I don't know, maybe they're not here or whatever. They're not here. So many major questions are not come. Topic also is fairly simple. Okay. So wish you all very good, evening. And let's hope tomorrow we will meet, inshallah, when we will take up Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Another very interesting law. Let's discuss it tomorrow. Bye. Sir, class over, sir.